Go dance with the angels.
Oh, oh shit! I forgot. Oh no. Hang on. I forgot to turn on my camera. Oops. I knew I was missing. I was forgetting something. Okay, so it's on. Calibrate. There we go. There you go. Hell yeah. Hello everybody. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. There we go. Let me turn this up and hope everybody's having a wonderful Saturday evening today. We're we're gonna be finishing the Turok novel. What's it called? Path of Destruction today. Let me pull this up and then switch here. Okay, so that one is up. I may need the browser for stream for later. No, I don't think I will. But we'll see. Uh, the music is playing, right? Yeah, it is playing. There we go. Okay, yeah, it is playing. Should be playing. Hello, welcome, Alexander. Welcome. Hope you're having a wonderful Saturday. So last we left up, chapter 6. Before chapter 6, Joshua wanted try to get back to Earth with the help of the gatekeeper. But it turns out the gatekeeper is actually a freaking cheat. He's not an actual person master of the portals and stuff. He can't get you where you want to be. So now Joshua, his friend, and his sister, they're lost. Joshua is in the future, and Allison and Barry, they're in the past with Tulset. So now, chapter 6. We're in chapter 6, 6, capítulo 6. Let's go. Oh yeah, we also met Tulset. Hell yeah, because who doesn't love Tulset? Chapter 6. Meanwhile, in the year 3033, a huge protest demonstration was taking place. Down with robots, called a young human woman about 20 years of age. Dismantle all cyborgs, deprogram the androids, she called as she marched in a picket line. She carried a sign that read, "No bots, no robots." A group of about 30 human protesters marched and chanted anti-robot slogans as they circled the city's main square. The group consisted of men and women from various walks of life, ranging in age from 20 to 60. At the sound of sirens, the protesters momentarily halted and looked towards the sky. 3 large android patrol hovercrafts suddenly appeared. The crafts circled the square, and as they swept the area, military para-android police leaped from them. The paradroids, as they were known, floated down out of the sky and landed on the pavement. Their metal feet made loud, clicking noises as they hit the pavement. The androids were armed with laser pistols and blaster rifles. On their metal chests were official police insignia. Some 60 paradroids touched down and quickly scrambled to encircle the startled protesters. The androids leveled their weapons at the humans, and as a robot commander began to speak from the command craft hovering above the crowd. "Put down your signs," the robot commander ordered. "You are all hereby detained. You are commanded to comply with my directions. Any refusal to comply will be dealt with most severely." "I won't put down my sign," the young woman yelled out defiantly. She lifted her "No bots" sign above her head. "I refuse to be detained by metalheads. Down with androids," she hollered. A robot sergeant raised his laser pistol and took aim. His jointed metal finger squeezed the trigger. Whirsap! A lethal laser blast struck the girl between the eyes, burning a searing hole through her brain and skull. She dropped to the ground, lifeless, with a smoking tunnel through her head. Protesters screamed. Some tried to run. Others began to fight their metal oppressors. They desperately tried to break through the ring of robot officers. "Open fire," the android commanded director. With sap, siao. Laser and plasma blasts echoed through the square. The trapped humans were helpless before the devastating onslaught of fire. They fell like ripe wheat before a reaper's keen blade. It was this scene of savage chaos that greeted Yannick and Josh as they sprinted into the square. "They're massacring humans!" Yannick shouted. He reached into his light burden and pulled out his stormbow. The stormbow was an advanced version of Josh's tech bow. It fired tech arrows at an astonishing rate. Yannick's bow twanged. A tech arrow struck the robot sergeant whose shot had killed the young woman. Kablam! The plasma burst instantly reduced the robot to a smoldering pile of twisted metal. Yannick fired again. Another of his arrows struck an android policeman in the chest. Blam! The robot burst into a million metal pieces. A shower of nuts, bolts, and computer chips rained down on the hysterical crowd. A huge robot policeman turned his laser blaster on Yannick. Josh saw the threat to the Turok of the future and rushed to his aid. He pulled his twin-bladed sanguine talon from the light burden. Despite its low-tech nature, the ancient close-range weapon was devastatingly effective in the hands of the skilled sanguine warrior. As Josh had proven back in the jungles of the Lost Land when he fought the long-necked beast. Josh sprang forward and lashed out with the razor-sharp talon. The blade sliced through the robot's metal arm as if it were flesh and bone. Its arm, hand, and laser blaster fell to the ground before the weapon could be fired. The one-armed robot showed no sign of pain or discomfort. It turned to face Josh and prepared to club him with its remaining metal arm. Josh sliced again, cutting a deep rift in the chest of the metal man. Wires and circuits were severed and began to spark and smoke. The robot lost power and fell to the ground. "That's one I owe you, Brother Turok," Yannick called out to Josh. Yannick kept firing his stormbow. A tech arrow exploded on the hull of a hovercraft and sent it crashing to the ground. The craft burst into flames as if its robot pilot was burned into a molten lump. "Your battle skills are as great as the many legends of your heroic deeds reports them to be," Yannick called out to Josh. Yannick fired twice more. Blam blam! Two robot policemen burst apart just as they prepared to herd some protesters towards a hovercraft that was landing. "I have no dinosaurs to fight," Yannick shouted. "Galliana holds no glory for me. My reputation as a great Turok must be won on a battlefield against diabolical androids and repulsive robot warmongers." Josh dodged a laser blast that exploded near him. He dove to the ground and then rolled to his feet. He came up between two android police officers. One swipe of his talon separated the body of the robot to his left from its head. The round metal cranium dropped to the ground and rolled off like a bowling ball. Sparks gushed from the cut wires in the android's neck as the robot collapsed into a smoking heap. A mighty downward blow from the talon clipped the robot in half to the right. The talon ripped through the metal skin of the android and tore through circuits and wires. The robot caught fire as Josh moved on to his next robotic foe. "Exterminate them all," the commander yelled from his hovercraft, which was hovering above the fracas. "Destroy the humans! Kill the Turok!" Yannick raised his stormbow and unleashed a barrage of 4 arrows. Blam blam blam! The successive explosions ripped the craft into sections, all of which plummeted to the ground. The robot commander plunged headfirst towards the pavement. The android impacted with a loud crunch. When the command ship fell, the remaining robot officers broke ranks. They pulled back and began to flee. Once the ring of metal men around them collapsed, the trapped protesters were free to seek cover. They quickly ran for their lives in a hysterical stampede. Yannick kept firing at the remaining retreating robots. He blasted one, sending an eruption of red-hot metal into the sky. A tech arrow blew up another robot, reducing it to molten rubble. "Enough, Yannick," Josh said. "They're retreating." He put a hand on Yannick's shoulder. Yannick paused and then ceased fire. It is a terrible thing not to be needed," Joshua Fire said. Yannick said. I am a Turok, but there's no need for my traditional duties. I will never achieve the lasting fame you achieved during your illustrious reign as the Protector of Earth. As they spoke, a wounded protester stumbled upon the two Turoks. He was a man in his late 50s. He had a severe laser wound in his chest. You must stop the cooling tonight, he cried as he fell into Josh's arm. Josh caught the wounded man as he gasped for air. The cooling is really murder. It's murder, he raved. Stop them. The robots are killing our best and brightest. Who are you? Josh asked as he cradled the mortally wounded man in his arms. I am Adam Morgans, the organizer of this protest and an official of the anti-bot movement. He gulped swallows of air, blood gushed out of his wound. Time was short for him. Stop the cooling. It's murder. The exhausted old man died in Josh's arm. Josh looked up at Yannick. What is the cooling? He asked. I'll tell you when we get back to my cubicle, Yannick promised. We must leave. More android police will be here soon. Josh laid the old man's body on the pavement. He looked around. The square was cluttered with smoking debris, robot remains, and 6 human bodies, counting that of Adam Morgans. It was a scene of senseless and sickening carnage. Let's go, Yannick urged. The robots will return in force. We have to leave. Josh got to his feet. He followed as Yannick led the way, glancing over his shoulder at the scene of death and destruction he had just felt. The two Turoks didn't speak as they slipped back to Yannick's cubicle unnoticed. Now, said Josh as Yannick closed the metal doors behind them, tell me about the cooling. Every 10 years, the robots in charge of our space program cool out the ever-expanding human population of Earth, Yannick began. The best physical specimens and the most creative and intelligent individuals are selected by the robots for transportation to our colony on Mars. Earth has a colony on Mars? Josh said in an astonished tone. Yes, Yannick continued. The colony was established some 50 years ago. Since then, the colony has been expanded by 250,000 citizens every 10 years. The 250,000 are the ones called, picked by the robots as best suited as colonists to the Martian colony. Josh exhaled loudly. There was something about this cooling process that didn't seem to add up. The old man's warning echoed in his brain. Stop the cooling. It's murder. Murder, Josh repeated aloud. The old man said the cooling was murder. Is there any way to check up on this cooling process? No, Yannick replied. The robots are in charge of the cooling. There's no information available, not even in the central computer bank. Yannick paused. The only way to find out about the immigration process would be to visit the Martial colony and speak to those who've been cooled over the years. But the robots control all space travel, and most humans don't care about anything anyway, except for having their brains plugged into the pleasure stimuli connectors in their living cubicles. They are blissful and oblivious, and therefore easy to control. The group you saw protesting are a vocal minority, hoping to retain some of their humanity in a robot-run world. Josh frowned, taking all this in. There is another way to get Mars besides space travel, he advised Yannick. Josh lowered the folding knife on his bandana. I thought you had trouble using the spatial portals, Yannick stated. I do, Josh admitted candidly, but I'm good at short trips. I usually end up where I want to go. Yannick frowned. He was skeptical of Josh's abilities to use the fold-eye gate openings. You consider Earth to Mars a short trip, he inquired. It's shorter than Earth to Galliana, or vice versa, Josh said. Come on. To use your own words, trust me. Josh spied a wide fold gate opening in the floor of Yannick's cubicle. He held out his hand to the Turok of the future. Take my hand. For a moment, Yannick stood there stoically, staring at his fabled ancestor. Then, with a shrug of his massive shoulders, he stepped forward and clasped hands with the young Turok. Jump! Josh instructed. Yannick followed the directive. They leaped forward together and plunged into the fold gate opening. They soared through the ominous netherscape and zoomed into another portal that carried them to the foreboding landscape of Mars, the red planet. They fell on the fine crimson dust of a massive enclosed colony on Mars. "You did it!" Yannick said as he got off his feet and dusted himself off. "Truly, you are one of the greatest Turoks of all time." "A lucky break," Josh thought to himself, "but I don't have to tell him that." "Thanks," said Josh. "I'll be signing autographs later." Josh slowly stood up and looked around. A large oxygen-filled canopy bubble stretched over a piece of Martian land the size of the state of Maine. Beneath the canopy, sparse vegetation grew. In the distance, Josh could see a small settlement. "That's strange," Josh muttered. It seems to me that if the robots have been sending people's brightest and most creative individuals to this colony, there'd be some signs of development. All I see is a small town. I expected to find a thriving metropolis." He glanced around. "There are few, if any, signs of an advanced civilization here." Josh paused. "This place also almost seems deserted or abandoned. There's not a living human soul in sight." "Perhaps we can learn more about the colony in town," Yannick said. "I propose we go there at once." The two Turoks started walking. Along the way, they passed abandoned vehicles and deserted homesteads. The vehicles they saw were worn and rusted. The homes were boarded up and abandoned. The Martian colony looked like a Wild West ghost town. "This place gives me the creeps," Josh said as they approached the outskirts of the small settlement. Everywhere they looked, they saw crumbling and dilapidated dwellings. As they moved further into the town, they came upon their first signs that the place was still inhabited. A small female child dressed in a tattered dress blundered out of a building and came face to face with Josh and Yannick. The girl was extremely thin and looked half-starved. When she spied the two Turoks, she ran. "Wait!" Josh cried. "Wait! We won't hurt you!" "She's frightened," Yannick and Josh agreed. It was as if she'd never met any strangers before. Minutes later, the girl returned with a ragtag group of 3 adults in tow. One was an elderly man of about 65. The elderly man stumbled forward, hope glistening in his eyes. Did they send you?" he stammered. "Are you here with provisions?" "I am Agon. Tell me, have the robots finally sent us fresh provisions?" "Easy," Josh said. "The robots didn't send us." "What?" cried a woman in her 40s. Her long red hair was disheveled. She looked weary and undernourished. "We need provisions. We're starving. We can barely grow enough food in our artificial environment to sustain what's left of our world." "We need food," the tall, thin man next to her cried out. His clothing was also ripped. "Why has Earth forgotten us? It's been 50 years since we heard from Earth. We want to go home." "That's right," Aegon called out. "I came here when I was 15. I'm the last surviving member of the original colonization group. All that's left are a few starving immigrants. We've been stranded here for 50 years. He glared at Josh. "Who are you? Why are you here? Where are our provisions?" The little group began to increase. Other survivors of the long and terrible isolation began to wander up and join the crowd. There were now about 20 or 30 angry Martian immigrants gathered before Josh and Yannick. Some were armed with blasters. Others held primitive weapons like wooden clubs in their clenched fists. The old man on Earth spoke the truth," Josh told Yannick. "The colony is a sham. No one has been sent to this colony since the first colonists arrived on Mars over 50 years ago." "Do you think he was right about the murders too?" Yannick said softly. "Are robots killing the ones selected for cooling?" "I don't know," Josh answered. "All I know is that the 250,000 people who supposedly left for Earth from Mars every 10 years are not here. If you didn't bring food or provisions, why have you come?" Aegon demanded in desperation. He turned to his people, who were quickly to become an enraged mob. Josh and Yannick now noticed that the agitated crowd was turning violent. We mean you no harm, Josh said. Liar! Aegon occurs. The little girl Josh and Janik had encountered when they first entered the town picked up a rock and threw it. The rock hits Josh on the forehead and opened a small wound. They are spies of the evil robots, the red-haired woman yelled. Get him! Riled by the rock-throwing incident and driven by a warped sense of duty to the legendary Turok from his past, Janik reached into his light burden and drew out a futuristic version of the Turok Firestorm cannon. One of the Martian survivors threw a laser blaster. No! Screamed Josh as blood trickled from the nasty gash on his forehead. Janik, don't shoot! Oh no. The violence has escalated. Oh, press OK to continue. Chapter 7. Oh, now we switch to Barry and Allison. I wonder where they were there. Wonder where they're going now. We're not dead, shouted Barry in surprise, grabbing his own face, chest, and legs to make sure he was all in one piece. He and Allison tumbled through the swirling darkness of the Netherscape. Somehow we got sucked through a portal back into the Netherscape before these dinosaur lasers got to us, said Allison. Then she called out, hoping that maybe her brother was also bouncing from portal to portal in the Netherscape. Josh, can you hear us? She got no reply. Around and around they swirled as the Netherscape twisted, twirled, Around and around they swirled as the Netherscape twisted, whirled them through time rift after time rift. They have been vacuumed off from Earth in the 1860s and were now being swept forward in time. They were scooped out of North America and dumped into a portal leading out to Europe, in particular France. No! groaned Allison as the DC duo began to descend. Not again! Whoop, thump, goosh. Allison and Barry were deposited into the soft, squishy mud of a huge bomb crater. Yuck! grumbled Allison as she slid face first down a mushy, grimy wall into a shallow pool of smelly water at the bottom of the crater. Disgusting! Barry groaned as he bellied into the pool beside Allison. Thick mud had collected onto the lenses of his glasses and totally obscured his vision. Even though it was still daylight, he couldn't see 2 feet in front of him. It was Allison who lifted her face out of the mud to see a pair of US Army combat boots itches from her nose. Allison swallowed hard and looked up. Squatting the crater near her was a soldier dressed in combat gear. He was an American, using the muddy pit as a foxhole. A screaming eagle patch on his arm signified he was with the Army's Airborne Division. Below the patch were sergeant stripes. Cradled in the sergeant's arm was a Thompson submachine gun. Raising her eyes higher, Allison caught a glimpse of a battle-hardened face. A half-smoked cigar was clutched between gritted yellow teeth. The shadow of a bird darkened the man's cheeks and chiseled chin. His helmet was tipped down over his forehead, but it couldn't hide the soldier's piercing dark eyes. He shifted his position slightly in order to point the barrel of his gun at Allison and Barry. The sergeant muttered one brutal word. Greetings! Greetings! Blattered the blinded Barry. What is that supposed to mean, Allison? And what happened to your boys? It sounds so deep and gravely. Barry finally removed his filthy glasses. The barrel of the Thompson submachine gun was inches from his nose. Barry blinked his eyes nervously. Who are you? Barry sputtered as he sat up in the muddy hole. Allison did likewise. Fire seat, Sergeant, U.S. Army, 82nd Airborne, the soldier recited. Now, who in blue blazes are you two and how did you get into my foxhole? Before Barry or Allison could answer, an artillery shell whistled through the air. "Get down!" the Sarge shouted as he ducked his head and held onto his helmet with his free hand. Hello there. Hello, Brandon. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. Happy Saturday. We're currently continuing to read the novel. Oh, hello. Hello, Badger. Thank you for... Holy shit. Thank you for the super chat. Always appreciate you. Welcome. What are you buying? What am I buying? I am buying Turok goods. I buy and sell Turok goods. Hope you're having a wonderful Saturday today, Badger. Currently reading the final chapters of Path of Destruction, the fourth novel. Rip. Let's see. Kid on the started Turok 2 that were stuck on the dead mashes where you had to find the last chest to blow up the ammunition. Wait, is that with the co-op? Yeah. Yeah, it has to be the co-op mod. There's no way it's that otherwise. I don't comment on Steam forums. That's all. Those comments are not mine. Nah, just kidding. Wait, it's a bug. I don't know how old that thread must be then. Probably. No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That whatever comment you're reading, it's probably from 2018, and I don't remember anything from that year. I don't remember things from 2 years ago onwards. So yeah, it probably is a bug, and I very much doubt it was ever fixed, implying that it was an actual bug and people just like not overlooking stuff. It was probably somebody overlooking something, and I just never bothered to actually investigate. I don't get paid to investigate bugs. I would love to get paid to do quality assurance. I will pay Night Dive to become a what is it called, quality assurance game developer tester thing. Wait, let's see, where am I? Where did I left off? Before kaboom! Wait. Actually, let me restart from the part. Who are you? Barry sputtered as he sat up in the muddy hole. Allison did likewise. Fire seat, Sergeant, U.S. Army, 82nd Airborne, the soldier recited. Now, who in blue blazes are you two, and how did you get into my foxhole? Before Barry or Allison could answer, an artillery shell whistled through the air. Get down! The Sarge shouted as he ducked his head behind and held onto his helmet with his free hand. Hell yeah. Oh. I don't know that. I don't know what it could be. I never knew. I think that was also like a weird issue. I think it's a weird issue of people abusing the what's it called, the quick save thing. I don't mean like pausing the game and saving. I mean there's a quick save button. I think it's a F5. You have to restart the game from scratch. It's an issue with probably I don't know. I'm just like making stuff up, but I'm pretty sure it's because people abuse the hell out of quick saves instead of manually saving. That is the only thing that that is giving me like an idea of what it might actually happen. I don't know. The other, oh no, wait, no, never mind. No, there's no other thing you can do. I mean, you can just leave the freaking level using the warp button, return to Port of Aria, or the second level, or any of the other quick warps. Yeah, any of the quick warp levels. Just get out of the level using the warping feature from the remaster. It's not like you're missing anything from not collecting the doing the thing. Where the fuck am I? I don't think it's a yeah. Not even Night Dive could recreate that bug. Not even Night Dive could recreate that bug. So that's why I don't think it's a bug. It's probably just a weird issue with some graphics cards or some memory configurations or whatever. I mean, if Night Dive couldn't recreate it, that has to be it. I believe it's only Turok 2 the one. Turok 1 never had something like that. Turok 3 doesn't have like anything like that. It's only Turok 2. It never got patched because Night Dive couldn't recreate the bug. And they even, what is it called? Somebody sent their save and Night Dive couldn't find anything wrong with it. I don't know. I think it was Edward, the developer, who opened the save and he was like, "Oh, but we don't see anything wrong with your save. There's nothing. There's no flags missing. There's nothing missing. Everything is okay. Everything is the way it's supposed to." Whatever. Well, we'll never know. The shell exploded nearby, sending a shower of dirt and gravel into the air that rained down upon the three occupants of the foxhole. The Sarge chomped on his cigar, using his tongue to roll it out of the side of his mouth, then spoke. I didn't blast you too when you flopped into this hole uninvited because I heard you were speaking English, but if you don't start explaining who you are right now, I may have to perforate your hides, the sergeant explained in his gruff voice, tinkled with an Oklahoma accent. You'd shoot a woman? Barry gasped in astonishment. And a man with glasses? A very bright man with glasses, I might add? Stow it, Paul, the sergeant ordered. He waved the Thompson in a menacing fashion. France is full of funny mustache collaborator supporters, and they include pretty women and teenagers. My mission is too important to risk failure because of a squeamy trigger finger. Fireseed, said Allison as she repeated the sergeant's name. Did you say your name is Fireseed? Are you from Oklahoma? You're a Native American, right? Saquin? I'm an American Indian, the sergeant answered as he realized his tense grip on the firing mechanism, and I'm proud to be a member of the Saquin tribe. Another enemy shell whistled overhead. The threesome ducked. The bomb hit and exploded. Kablam! More debris fell into the hole. What's going on here anyway? Barry demanded. What's with all the big bullets? They're not big bullets. They're shells, Sonny, the sergeant stated. And this is war. You know, the Ally versus the Axis. The good guys against against Mr. Funny Mustache Man. Where have you been? On Mars? This is August 1944. We're finally starting giving the Reds a taste of their blitzkrieg tactics in reverse. We're pushing them back, but now their lines of defenses have stiffened. France. France? War? Funny Mustache Man? Barry blabbed. He belly flopped into the mud. Ali, we're right in the middle of World War II. The gatekeeper double-crossed us again. He keeps sending us back to Earth, but not in the right time period. I would guess that since we don't belong in time we're in, or the one we just left, we keep getting pulled back through the fall gates and shifting to new time frames. The sergeant shook his head. The gatekeeper? He asked, sounding as he'd heard the name before. He teleported us to Earth from Galliana, Allison explained. Only we were trying to get back to Earth in the 1900s, not the 1860s or the 1940s. No offense. Galliana, the sergeant repeated curiously. He lifted his weapon, aiming the muzzle at Allison and Barry. The only thing I hate as much as funny mustache collaborators are dinosaur invaders. You know about dinosaurs? Asked Barry in an astonished tone. We're not dinosaurs, Allison insisted. We're humans, just like you. In fact, you and I are probably related. I'm Allison Fireseed. My older brother is Joshua Fireseed, the reigning Turok of our time, the 1990s. He took over the job from my uncle Carl Fireseed. Well, I'll be a big belly bilge rat, the Sarge said. He relaxed his hold on the submachine gun. I'm Greyhawk Fireseed, aka Sergeant Turok, he stated. At least Sergeant Turok is what they called me. He lifted his helmet to reveal a bandana tied around his head. Attaching to it was a folding eye. I wear the light burden under my shirt. It keeps nosy officers from asking me stupid questions about why I'm out of uniform. Boom, kaboom, boom. 3 more shells exploded. The occupants of the hold were forced to hunker down low to keep safe. Their heads once again bobbed up as the shell bin eased up. Where's your brother? I'd like to meet my descendant from the future. He's lost in the Netherscape, Barry answered. The Sarge scowled. He eyed Barry. Don't tell me you're a long-lost cousin of mine. I'm Josh's best friend, Barry Hakowitz, loyal Paul, stunning wit, and all-around good egg. Barry answered. Suddenly, he brightened. Hey, he announced as he glanced around. The shelling stopped. I wouldn't be too happy about it, the sergeant suggested. It just means that an ever longer attack is coming. Enemy gunfire opened up. From a patch of nearby woods, a platoon of German soldiers came charging out. Eat some dirt, dog faces, the sergeant yelled to Allison and Barry. Excuse me, said Barry, are you talking to us? Down, motto mouth, yelled the sergeant, shoving Barry and Allison to the bottom of the muddy pit. And shut up if you want to stay alive. The sergeant crept up to the edge of the foxhole and opened fire with his Thompson. Rat-a-ta-ta-ta-ta, blum blum blum. The Thompson split burning hot lead. A German corporal at the head of the charge dropped his rifle. He grabbed his chest and as blood squirted from a row of holes across his torso. He stumbled forward on his face. Another German had his throat ripped out by a burst of bullets. Sprays of hot blood gushed from the gash as he twirled on his knees and sank to the ground. 3 other German soldiers anxiously clutched at lethal bullet wounds in their bodies and then dropped, never to rise again. The remaining members of the unit turned tail and headed back into the woods. Come on, troops, the sergeant said as he glanced at his new companions. We got to get out of here. They'll be back after another shelling. The next time they'll overturn this hole for sure. But Barry began. Ganny Hakowitz, snapped the sergeant. Around here I give the orders and you listen. Well, he's certainly not as nice as Josh, Barry whispered to Allison, or even Tal said. Sergeant Turok wriggled out of the foxhole on his belly. He began to crawl towards a stone wall some 200 yards off to the left. Do like I do and keep your head down. I'll try to keep you from getting killed. Thank you, was all Allison could think of to say as she squirmed out of the hole after Sergeant Turok. If it's not too much trouble, Barry grumbled as he crawled after his companions. Hey, the sergeant remarked, and he bellied forward. What are friends and relatives for? Come on! Allison and Barry slithered through the slime until they reached the safety of the stone wall. Once there, Sergeant Turok signaled with his hands for them to remain silent. He crouched low along the wall and hugged the stone as he moved around along the barrier. Allison and Barry followed suit. They were halfway down the hall when the shelling resumed. The first round of shells landed squarely in the foxhole they'd just been in. The Sarge led his new recruits along the wall through a bombed-out barn and into a grove of trees that had once been an orchard. They moved silently so as to not reveal their position to the enemy soldiers who were still around. The threesome kept going. By dusk, they found themselves at the edge of a small French farming compound, consisting of a two-story stone farmhouse, a huge barn, several outbuildings, and a towering silo. It was well guarded by a troop of battle-hardened German veterans. In an irrigation ditch at the edge of an old cornfield, Sergeant Turok halted. "Now can I talk?" Barry asked as he flopped down in the wet soil. "Mud again," he complained. "Great. Well, at least my complexion will look good when they bury me." Do guys in your time all talk this much?" asked the Sarge. Barry opened his mouth to reply, but before any words came out, the Sarge spoke again. "Just shut up and listen," he whispered. He tilted his helmet back at Allison as Allison got as comfortable as possible in the grimy rut. "You two showed up at a lousy time," the Sarge said. "You don't know where your Turok is, so I guess I'm stuck with you. I can't leave you behind to be captured by the Germans, but I can't delay carrying out my orders either." Allison sat up, intrigued. "It sounds like you're in some kind of secret mission." "I am," he replied. "Why else would I be this far behind the Oh, hell. Oh, scare me. Hello, Byro. Welcome. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. Happy Saturday. Feliz Sábado. Currently we're reading the Turok novel Path of Destruction. On chapter 7, so might be able to finish. Yeah, I'm definitely finishing this novel today. But yeah, welcome. Hope you... Feliz Sábado, hell yeah. Wait, why is it doing this? There we go. Allison sat up, intrigued. "It sounds like you're in some kind of secret mission." "I am," he replied. "Why else would I be this far behind the enemy lines?" He sighed. The big brass even called it a suicide mission. "A suicide mission?" Barry repeated. He shuddered. "I think this is where I leap into another portal and do a swan dive into the Central High School swimming pool in Oklahoma, in my own time." He looked the Sarge square in the eye. "I didn't survive aliens and dinosaurs on Galliana only to get shot in the French countryside during a war that was fought before I was even born." "This guy's real Section 8, ain't he?" the sergeant whispered to Allison, pointing at Barry. He shook his head. "Look, pal, a Turok doesn't volunteer for a mission without the odds being in his favor. Having the light burden guarantees the odds being in my favor always. This is my 13th suicide mission since I landed in Normandy on D-Day." "Lucky 13, Barry muttered. "Lucky us." "Stow it, pal," Allison told Barry, borrowing the sergeant's phrase and even imitating his voice. Then she flashed Barry a mischievous smile. Barry raised his eyebrows to the heaven and simply muttered, "Fire seeds." Allison looked at her ancestor. "So what's your mission, Sarge?" She was enjoying playing army. Sergeant Turok jerked his head in the direction of the farmhouse. "A leader of the Maquis, an underground French resistance group fighting the German occupation of France, is being held in that farmhouse. Fellow freedom fighters radio us about the leader capture. The leader is known to our people only as Liberté, which is French for liberty." The sergeant paused. The sun was sinking below the horizon. Dark shadows began to creep across the land. Sergeant Turok continued. "Liberté has committed to memory the names of many by key traitors and collaborators, French government officials who are helping the Germans. Liberté also knows the name of every resisting commander in the south of France. Liberté has for information vital to both the Germans and to us. Wait, Barry blurted out. Let me guess, your mission is to rescue Liberty at all costs before the German Gestapo arrives to interrogate the prisoner. It's perfect. It's just like the plot of dozens of old war movies. Sergeant Turok glared at Barry with icy eyes. This ain't no movie, kid, he grumbled. My mission is to rescue Liberté or kill him before the Gestapo can get their hands on him. Allison gasped. You were sent out here to assassinate a resistance leader? The sergeant nodded. Only as a last resort. But of course, I am a Turok first. I don't follow any orders but my own. My plan is to bring Liberté back alive, if possible. However, having you two along complicates matters. Hey, we won't get in the way, Sarge, Barry exclaimed. I promise. Lower your voice, Hackowitz. The Sarge said softly but sternly. This place is crawling with crots. A voice from the shadows called out in German. Allison, Barry, and the Sarge sank lower in the ditch at the edge of the rows of withered corn stalks. Out of the field stumped a German soldier. He saw the strangers and raised his weapon to fire. Before the soldier could shoot, Sergeant Turok sprang into action. He reached out and grabbed the soldier by the ankles. A quick and violent yank pulled the enemy guard off his feet. He fell backwards, losing his weapon as he tumbled to the ground. The Sarge whipped out his combat knife and plunged the blade deep into the soldier's chest. He pulled the blade out and struck again, instantly snuffing out any remaining flicker of life. Look out, Sarge! Allison warned as another German soldier bolted out of the cornfield. The enemy soldier lunged forward. The gleaming bayonet fixed to the rifle he had at his hip hit Sergeant Turok square in the chest, but didn't penetrate his skin. He must be wearing Turok's breastplate on his uniform, Allison said, referring to the wood and rawhide lace breastplate all Turoks wore. The shield made its wearer impervious to most types of physical harm. When his bayonet bounced back, the astounded German soldier momentarily dropped his guard. That was all the time Sergeant Turok needed to react. He jumped up and stabbed his foe under the ribcage, forcing the point of the blade into the enemy's heart. The soldier gasped, heaved, and died. He fell in a limp heap at the sergeant's feet. Sergeant Turok wiped his bloody blade on the leg of his trousers. Sorry, Sarge, Barry whispered, trying his best to sound like the young recruit in all the war movies he had ever seen. I didn't mean to talk so loud. That's okay, kid, the Sarge answered. He wiped his blade on his pant legs again. This gives me a way to get closer to that well-guarded farmhouse. Huh? Said Barry nervously, not liking the sound of this at all. What do you mean? I mean that two young German soldiers are about to escort an American prisoner right up to the front door, replied the Sarge. Barry shook his head. I think I know where you're going with this, and I'm not sure I like it. Sergeant Turok pointed at the fallen German soldiers. Take off their uniforms and put them on, he told Allison and Barry. Now I'm sure, said Barry anxiously. I'm sure I don't like it. Allison looked at Barry and cringed. Barry bit his lower lip. Why didn't we just stay in Galiana, where all we had to deal with were angry aliens and deadly dinosaurs, he said. Come on, Allison told Barry, slapping him firmly on the shoulders. Help me get this soldier's coat off. Ow! Yelled Barry, rubbing his shoulder. Then he bent down to help Allison. 1 hour later, the full moon was up. So were Sergeant Turok's hand as he strolled towards the stone farmhouse, walking between two odd-looking German guards dressed in ill-fitting uniforms. This uniform itches, Barry complained as he poked at the sergeant's back with the bayonet of his rifle. Mine stinks, Allison grumbled. I'll bet this guy hasn't taken a shower since he left Berlin. Can the shadow and remember the plan, Sergeant Turok whispered as he marched along with hands held high. His shirt was unbuttoned to the waist, so he had ease access to his light burden. March through the front and then duck, Allison answered. Check, Barry said. Right, the sergeant agreed. Now keep quiet. The threesome walked towards the farmhouse. They passed a machine gun nest near a storage shed. Two German soldiers on guard duty looked at them, nodded, and then turned back to their posts. No one questioned them as they got closer and closer. Finally, they were at the front door. Here goes nothing, Barry whispered. He turned the latch and flung open the door. Instantly, the three Americans came face to face with a room full of German soldiers. There were 5 soldiers in the room, 2 privates, a corporal, and a lieutenant, plus a mean-looking captain who had a long scar on his face that started at his left ear and ran down his cheek until it touched the corner of his mouth. The captain slowly rose from the table he was sitting at with the lieutenant. He kicked his chair back and scowled at the intruders. Then he shouted angrily in German and pounded a fist on the tabletop. Prisoner was all Barry could think of shouting as he dove for the floor. Allison dropped her rifle and did the same. The outraged captain screamed orders in German as he pointed at the intruders and reached for the Luger at his side. Sergeant Farseed stuck his hands inside his shirts and into the light burden. Almost like a quick draw artist, he yanked out a semi-automatic heavy pistol with his right hand and his Thompson submachine in his left. He opened fire with both weapons, targeting separate soldiers with each hand. Blam, 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 rat-a-ta-ta-ta. Lead demons of death whistled their way across the room. They tore into the soldiers standing before them, puncturing flesh, bone, and vital organs as they passed through body after body. One by one, the Germans in the room cried out in pain and crumbled to the floor. The captain was the last to topple. His unfired Luger slipped from his lifeless hand as he flopped face first into the table, which toppled over. A side door opened and 2 more German soldiers stormed into the room, firing pistols. Bullets whizzed by Sergeant Turok's ear. He spun and squeezed 2 short bursts. Bullets sprayed the 2 new adversaries, ripping their bellies open. They squealed in anguish and dropped to the floor, clutching their stomachs. See what's in that room, Sergeant Turok called to Allison and Barry. The 2 terrified frames scrambled to their feet. Somehow, this is scarier than dinosaurs, said Barry as they tossed off the German helmets and peeled off their coats. Rushing into the room, they found a helpless captive tied to a chair. The prisoner was slumped over. Are you Liberte? Barry shouted as he rushed forward. The prisoner's head rose. The long dark hair that had hidden the captive's face was swept back by a jerk to the head. A beautiful female face looked up to astonish Barry and Allison. I am Liberte, the young woman rasped. My name is Simone Lebec. Let's get her untied, Allison yelled as she tugged at the knotted ropes. Barry knelt down and pulled at the knots. Hurry, Sergeant Turok ordered. Double time! He returned the 2 weapons he had been using to the light burden, then pulled out Turok's firestorm cannon. He lifted his foot and kicked open the door of the farmhouse. Outside, German troops were firing at the farmhouse from the barn, the silo, and the other buildings. The machine gun nests in the shed also opened up as a hailstorm of lead racked the building. Take this, Sergeant Turok cried. He squeezed the trigger of the firestorm cannon and a little rain of fiery sounds poured out of the smoking barrel. The gun barked savagely, and its deadly bite was frightful to behold. The machine gun nest in the storage shed was instantly put out of commission. The crew manning it was shredded into strips of bloody plum. The Sarge racked the barn with fire. Bullets blasted through the barn like a swarm of insatiable lead termites. They chewed through wood and human flesh, leaving gaping holes in their wake. Rows of soldiers fell before the sergeant's fire like toppling dominoes. A German sniper concealed in the silo fired. His first shot nicked the sergeant's shoulders. Sergeant Turok turned the cannon to his hidden foe. Bullets tore through the top of the silo, ripping out holes in a bizarre patterns. The metal seemed to scream as it was cut apart. A man's anguished yell echoed out of the silo. A rifle with a telescopic lens skittled from the outer shell of the silo's wall. The sniper was silenced forever. "Let's go! Go! Go!" Sergeant Turok cried. He stopped firing and looked behind him, clutching his wounded shoulder. Barry, Allison, and Liberty dashed out of the room. Sergeant Turok's eyes widened in surprise when he realized the resistance leader he'd been sent to rescue was in fact a woman. "What are your orders, Sergeant?" asked Liberty as she kneeled down to pick up the rifle of a dead German soldier. "We're gonna make a run for the cornfield," the sergeant announced. "I'll lead and lay down cover fire. Liberty follows. You two stay close to her heels." He looked at his charges. "Everyone got it?" One by one, they all nodded. "If we can reach the ditch near the cornfield, we should be home free. Whatever happens, don't stop until you reach that ditch." He recocked the Firestone cannon. Liberty checked over the rifle she now held. "Let's do it." The sergeant told her as she bolted out into the fray. Blazing bullets streaked past in the darkness like little fireflies of death. Rat, rat, rat. Rat-a-ta-ta-ta-ta. Blam, blam. Sergeant Turok blasted a bloody path through a wall of staunch German defenders. He ran as fast as his legs could carry him, shooting first ahead and then quickly left and right. Liberté, the French resistance leader, raced behind him, firing the German rifle. Close behind her came Allison and Barry, bringing up the rear. "Come on, Barry," Allison urged her friend, who was lagging behind. "Run faster! Bullets whizzed over their heads like deadly buzzing bees." "I can't," Barry cried, stumbling as he ran. "These German boots are too big. They're slowing me down." "Mine are big too," Allison shouted. "We should have removed them before we left the farmhouse. No time to stop now. Keep on running." Allison struggled to increase her speed and tripped over the clumsy boots. She fell to the ground about 100 yards from the cornfield. Ahead of her, Sergeant Turok and Liberty kept moving. They didn't look back, so they never saw her fall. Only Barry saw Allison crash to the ground. If he kept running, he could at least make it to the cornfield. He could have kept going, but he didn't. He stopped to assist Allison. He tried to get her back on her feet. Then, they both decided to remove their boots. Barry looked up and he yanked his boots off. He saw Sergeant Turok and Liberty reach the safety of the cornfield. Allison kicked her feet free of the oversized boots. They started to get up as a wave of enraged German troopers closed in on them. Barry gulped as the Germans raised their rifles to fire. It was futile to run. They couldn't make it to the cornfield, and there was no cover in sight. Allison put her hands around Barry. "You could have made it," she said, "but you stopped to help me." "Well," Barry sputtered, "if I'd have to die young, I might as well die a hero's death. Besides, I was only doing what Josh would have done." He shut his eyes. "But I don't want to die." A German sergeant screamed orders at his troops as they raced closer. Reaching Barry and Allison, the soldiers aimed right at the two friends. "Goodbye, Allison," said Barry. "Goodbye, Barry," she replied as they stood in the moonlight. The German sergeant shouted a quick one-word order in his native tongue. Barry and Allison didn't need a translator to figure out what the order could mean. Barry and Allison didn't need a translator to figure out that the order could mean only one thing: fire. Oh, empty page. Ooh. Okay. Cliffhanger. Cliff freaking hanger, because chapter 8 has nothing to do with what just happened. Wait, I'm gonna do a stretch. Ugh. Ugh. Chapter 8. Stop! Commanded Joshua Fireseed as he jumped directly in front of Janik's weapon. As Janik pulled the trigger, Josh kicked upward with his foot. He knocked the barrel up as the gun fired. Blam 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 ratatatata. The tracer rounds screeched skyward, missing their intended target, the Martian colonists. As quick as lightning, Josh spun to his heel and grabbed Janik's weapon. He wrenched it out of the future Turok's grasps. Calm down, Janik, he told his fellow Turok. These people are just frightened. Josh dropped the weapon to the ground. It landed in the red Martian dust. Then he faced the colonists who had their blasters trained directly on him, their fingers on the triggers of their weapons. The colonists eyed him suspiciously. One false move and they would be reduced to smoldering ashes. Josh raised his arms in a gesture of peace. Blood trickled out of the gash of his forehead and ran down his face. Aegon, he said, calm your people. Tell them to put down their weapons. We are not your enemies. The robots are your enemies. It is they who have betrayed you. We've come to take you home. Home? Gasped Aegon. The word home was softly repeated by every person in the crowd. Slowly, all the blaster pistols were lowered. Aegon stepped up to Josh. He looked deep into the young Turok's eyes. Do you mean it? He asked hopefully. Are you really here to take us back to Earth? Josh gently placed his hand on Aegon's bony shoulder. Yes, he replied. I am going to take you home. Send out messengers. Signal all survival colonists to assemble here. You'll all be going home. Aegon turned to his people. We're going home to Earth, he announced jovially. Do as he says. Send word. Let's all assemble here for the trip home. A roar of elation rose from the crowd. The red-headed woman who had spoken earlier raised up to Josh, threw her arms around him, and kissed him in both cheeks. My name is Melda, she told him. Thank you, thank you. She released him and ran off. Josh felt a tug from his trousers. He looked down and saw the little girl who'd hit him with the rock. I'm sorry I threw the stone, she apologized. I thought you were a bad man. Now I know you must be a very good man if you are going to bring us home. He is a great Turok, Janik said as he joined his companion. He looked at Josh and winked. Janik had regained his composure. The little girl ran off, and as did all of the other colonists. They scurried away to spread the good news. At long last, they were returning home to Earth. Sorry about what happened, Josh said to Janik. But you have to learn to control your temper. A good Turok must be level-headed at all times. Josh stopped talking. Listen to me, he thought. I'm giving advice on how to be a Turok. That's a good one. You are correct, Joshua Fire said, and Janik agreed. But that is why you are claimed as one of the greatest Turoks in history. I have much to learn from you, my friend. Josh smiled and patted Janik on the back. His confidence and leadership abilities was growing with each passing day. Still, thoughts of Barry and Allison haunted his every waking moment and filled his nightly dreams. Tell me, Joshua Farseed, said Yannick, you pledged to return these people to Earth. How do you plan to do it? You could take 2 or 3 at a time through a fall gate opening, but that process would require many hours, even days. Josh opened his mouth and breathed deeply. I know, he answered, but I guess that's what I'll have to do. I'm not skilled enough at using these spatial portals to do anything else. Josh's facial expression suddenly soured. He shook his head. This is almost too impossible to be true, he said to Yannick. The robots have fooled the human race for decades. He glanced around. The way you talked about this place, I expect to find a thriving colony of scientists, artists, and overachievers. This is more like a penal colony. Only these people aren't guilty of any crime, except for the crime of being human. How can no one on Earth not know about this? Humans on Earth are too content. I got fucking jump scared. Ah. Hello, Joseph. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. Happy Saturday. Ooh, man, that's gonna kill me one of these days. Currently, we're reading the Turok novel, Path of Destruction, Turok number 4. I'm on chapter 8. Yeah, chapter 8. Let's go. Hell yeah, happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to you too, Rare, bro. Let's see, let me try again. Humans on Earth are too content with their personal lifestyles to question anything the robot says. Janik replied. Robots control all the news sources. They operate the television and radio stations. Wait, they have radio stations in the year 3030? Holy shit, that's neat. How? Why? There's no radio in our time already. Like, if you tune in the radio, it's all just ads. I mean, maybe it's the same thing in the future. It's just ads, but bigger ads, longer ads, 1 hour long ads that are now the freaking TV shows. Shows. They produce the newspapers. As I told you, everyone on Earth is plugged into their computerized pleasure machines. Their brains are blissfully stimulated in 1,000 different ways. The average person no longer cares what happens. Fake news reports from the Marshall Colony come in regularly, but few people pay any attention to those stories. He shook his head. We of Earth have become pawns of the machines we created to serve us. Now we are controlled by them. That sounds weirdly realistic. We're addicted to freaking YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and all that shit. I want off this planet, please. That's what worries me, Josh said. Remember what Adam Morgan said at the process about the culling? He called it murder. If those people on Earth are not being sent to Mars, then what is happening to them? Are they being killed? I don't know, Jenny confessed. All I know is that 250,000 individuals are taken to the Dome Teleportation Stadium every 10 years. The people are seated in rows. One by one, the rows move towards the top of the stadium. When they reach the dome, the top row is dematerialized and supposedly transported here. Obviously, that is not happening. I think the robots are going to have some serious explaining to do when we get back to Earth, Josh told Yannick. Making them talk won't be easy, Yannick replied. We may have to resort to violent methods. Josh stared at his brother Turok. We'll do what we have to do to uncover the truth. Didn't Morgan say the next calling was tonight? That is correct, replied Yannick. It's set to begin at sundown this evening. Then we don't have much time, said Josh. If this calling really is mass murder, then I've got to be there to stop it before it starts. Let's get this transportation underway. A throng of some 3,000 Martian colonists had quickly assembled before Josh and Yannick. Josh leaned closer to his comrade. This might take longer than I thought, he whispers. and we don't have much time. Turok! Yelled Aegon, who was at the head of his people. My people are assembled, but I have some disturbing news. A computer scan of our environment has detected a small crack in the atmospheric dome, he explained. Apparently, when you deflected your companion's shot towards the sky, a bullet punctured the dome. Oxygen is slowly leaking out. This would be of great concern if we're not going back to Earth. It is estimated that we have about only 2 hours before there is a substantial loss of our artificial contained atmosphere in this quadrant. Aegon smiled. Will the teleportation process take longer than that? Josh gulped. Talk about pressure, he thought. Not only do I need to get back before the calling begins, but now I got 2 hours to get all of these people from Mars to Earth. He eyed Yannick anxiously. I'm not sure, Josh told Aegon. Tell your people to rest and relax. I'll begin the teleportation process as soon as possible. Aegon smiled, bowed respectfully to Josh, then turned to rejoin his people. What are you going to do? Yannick asked Josh. How can you bring all these people through a fall gate opening that fast? It's impossible. It can't be done. It has to be done, Josh answered in a positive tone. He reached up and flipped down the folding eye. What other choices there? I've heard stories of your great achievements, Yannick said. I've seen you in action, but now I will learn just how truly great you are, Brother Turok. Josh didn't reply. Enough of this hero worship already, he thought. It's really starting to get on my nerves. He began to search for a spatial opening huge enough to accommodate 3,000 interdimensional travelers. His thoughts turned into the gatekeeper. In a way, he was now entrusted with the same role as the gatekeeper. The lives of the Martian colonists were in his hands. It was his duty to get them home. Unlike the sinister gatekeeper, he would not send them spiraling through the ominous netherscape without having a clue as to their final destination. He had to be sure. He had to be positive they were headed for Earth, and it had to be the Earth of their own time. Josh scanned the landscape, searching for invisible portals. He checked one fall gate opening after another. At long last, he discovered a massive portal inside a large crater that was inside the dome complex. It was about a quarter-mile walk from where the crowd had assembled. That's it, Josh called out. I found one. Are you sure? Yannick questioned his friend. Positive, Josh said. He turned towards the crowd. Listen to me, he yelled at the top of his lungs. We have to walk to the place we will depart from. We will move in single file, holding hands front and back. Josh paused before continuing with his instructions. We must hold hands and form a human chain. I will be the first link in the human chain. I will guide us all back to Earth. He turned to his friend. Yannick here will be the final link. Whatever happens, hold on tight to the person in front and in back of you. Do not break the chain. We won, Turok, shouted Melda. The massive line began to form. The little girl who'd kicked Josh with the rock walked up to him and offered him her tiny hand. Josh smiled and took it. Yannick moved towards the rear of the long line. Let's go, Josh shouted as he started for the crater. The crowd behind him followed, singing joyously as they marched off in a single file. The quarter-mile distance passed quickly. When Josh reached the rim of the crater, he halted. When I jump into the crater, everyone run and follow me in, he shouted. Pass the word. Remember to hold hands. The word was passed from person to person. Josh looked down at the little girl. Ready? He asked her. She smiled sweetly. I've never seen Earth, she said. I was born here. Well, you're gonna see it now, Josh promised. Then he leaped into the crater and into the huge fall gate opening. He pulled the little girl into the portal after him. One by one, the long human chain plunged into the crater and was sucked into the haze of the netherscape. Josh guided the colonists through the murky netherscape as the long line of people entered the fall gate opening. The last to plunge into the portal was Yannick. He vanished into the opening just as the colony's atmospheric dome began to splinter and crack. The human chains slithered through the netherscape in a serpentine line. Josh skillfully guided them and merged through a large portal on Earth just outside the city of Dallas, Texas. Out of the portal, the martial colonists tumbled like gumballs from a broken vending machine. They spilled out into a remote deserted area. Soon, some 3,000 space refugees were standing on the soil of their home world. Earth! Aegon cried. He dropped to his knees and kissed the ground beneath his feet. We are on Earth again! But we are not safe. But we are not yet safe, Yannick called as he rushed forward to join Josh. The android police will soon be here to round up these people. Josh looked at the little girl. She was being led away by Melda. Is there a problem? Aegon asked the two Turoks. Josh refused to lie to the old man. Yes, he replied. Robot police will be here shortly. They'll want to detain your people. I don't trust the robots, a tall man in the group shouted. His name was Janor. He was a man who had drawn a blaster pistol on Josh back on Mars. He once again unholstered his weapon. Do not be rash, Aegon told Janor. No, Josh said. Janor is right. It is time to fight back against the robots. Aegon, you and your people must be the spark that ignites rebellion against the androids. You must help awaken the rest of the humans on Earth and alert them of the danger of robot control. We will fight! Aegon bowed. He drew a blaster from his side holster. Will you lead us, Turok? Josh looked at Yannick. He pulled a hand on Yannick's shoulder. We will lead you, Josh announced. Yannick and I will lead you against the robotic operation. Yannick glanced at Josh. I don't know if I can lead. You're fit to lead, Josh admonished his descendant. You're a Turok. Act like one. Take your place as protector of Earth. Yannick's eyes narrowed. His brow hardened. His chest expanded proudly. Yes, he agreed. I am a Turok. I accept my responsibility. Hovercrafts approaching! Janor yelled in alarm. He pointed at the sky above the city. 6 police hovercrafts packed with robot paradroids were approaching in formation. Arm yourselves, Josh cried, then reached out his light burden and withdrew his tech bow and tech arrows. Following his companion's example, Yannick pulled out his storm bow. Here they come! Aegon shouted. Josh raised... Hang on. Sorry. Josh raised his bow and took careful aim at the lead hovercraft. He pulled back the string and launched a deadly missile. The tech arrow zipped through the air and struck the hovercraft, which was about 75 feet above the ground. Kablam! The arrow exploded upon impact, disabling the craft. The airship lurched forward and out spilled its robot crew. Android soldiers plunged towards the air far below. They smashed to pieces and exploded as they hit the hard ground. Their ship followed them down. It left a trail of smoke in its wake, and it swirled to Earth and crashed. The second hovercraft veered off to the side. Paratroop robots leaped from the craft and drifted to Earth. The air above the Martian refugees was filled with 20 robots who opened fire into the raid rifles as they floated downward. Yannick pulled back the string of his storm bow. In the wink of an eye, he launched 10 tech arrows and then another 10. All 20 missiles had separate targets. One by one, the arrows hit the parachuting troopers. One by one, the robot warriors exploded into charred chunks of smoking metal. 2 down and 4 to go, Josh shouted. Janon and Aegon aimed their blasters at another hovercraft. They fired simultaneously. Zap, zap. The beams struck the ship before its robot could jump off. Flames spewed from the side of the craft. It burst into a fireball. 3 flaming robot paratroopers leaped from the craft before it disintegrated. Josh dropped his tech bow and pulled his grenade launcher from the light bird. He took aim and fired twice. Each grenade hit one ship and instantly exploded. Both robot ships were destroyed and the robot occupants were wiped out. The 6th and final android craft unloaded its paratroopers and turned to flee. Yannick took careful aim at the craft. He released the string of the stormbow. A flock of arrows sped after the craft. They struck in the stern and exploded with a violent barrage. Boom, boom, boom. The craft was reduced to twisted strips of smoky metal which spiraled towards Earth. The 20 android paratroopers sailed towards Earth as Josh pulled another weapon from his mystical fringe satchel. He loosened a buzzing swarm of scorpion missiles at his robotic foes. Each deadly projectile sought out a separate target. Like a lethal fireworks display, the scorpion missiles hit their marks and blew apart robot after robot after robot. Not a single android paratrooper reached Earth. Instead, the warriors on the grounds were showered with a hailstorm of metal pieces, bolts, circuits, and computer chips, all that remained of the would-be robot warriors. Humans 1, robots 0, Yannick said as he tailed the score. But once again, we paid a steep price for victory, Josh said sadly. Yannick turned to see Melda carrying the lifeless body of the little girl. Then he spotted the bodies of Aegon and Janor. Blood flowed freely from the lifeless forms. This killing has to stop, Josh told Yannick. I'm leaving all these people under your protection. Where are you going? Yannick asked. To stop the culling, Josh explained. Good luck, Turok, Yannick said as Josh rushed off. Be careful, the robots have great power. In the city, the best and brightest humans were already eagerly filling in a huge round domed structure for the cooling process. The sinister robots herded them like cattle into the stadium for their supposed journey to Earth's colony on Mars. Chapter 9. Oh. Oh no, out of water. Let's go. Next chapter. Yeah, sorry. Chapter 9. Now we're back to Barry and Allison. Barry shut his eyes tightly as the German soldiers prepared to follow their commander's order to fire. He held on to Allison and resolved to himself that his time had finally run out. He heard the shots, but felt no pain. All he experienced was a strange surge of pulsating energy which enveloped him. He felt himself twirling and spinning around and around. His eyelids snapped open. He and Allison were once again whirling through the surrealistic netherscape. Talk about a timely interruption, he remarked offhandedly as they tumbled head over heels. Barry, Allison called. Are you okay? Great, Barry said. Never better. Better to be thrilling in the netherscape again than to be shot full of holes back on Earth, Allison said. I just wish I knew where we're going next. I wonder if the gatekeeper knew this would happen to us. I don't know, Barry answered. Sorry. I hope Josh is okay. Maybe we'll bump into him at our next stop. In any case, I really don't wanna do this for the rest of my life. I have plans, you know. Graduating from high school before I'm 90 would be a nice start. Allison and Barry held on to each other. They were whisked into a nearby fall gate opening. I just hope we find a familiar face in the next place we end up, Allison said as they plunged deeper into the dark portal. Crash! Thump! The two friends crashed into a clump of bushes. Ouch! Bellowed Barry as he climbed out of the dense tree, getting his hands and knees. Where are we? Allison asked as she righted herself in the ticket. Are we in the middle of another battlefield? Is there a war going on? Is someone out here waiting to stab, shoot, or blow us up? Barry looked around and smiled. The warm sun was shining brightly. The surrounding landscape was a beautiful mix of gently rolling hills and lowland. He stood up. In the distance he could see a small village. I think we should make it for the village to get our bearings, Allison suggested. Maybe we can figure out where and when we are. Allison put her arm around Barry. By the way, it really was heroic the way you stopped to help me back in France during World War II. She gave him a friendly peck on the cheek. Thanks, she said. Barry blushed shyly. It wasn't anything any red-blooded dog-faced GI wouldn't have done, he remarked, offering her a mock salute. Then the two sauntered down a hill towards the village far below. Soon they could make out the buildings. They were primitive stone and stick dwellings. Allison and Barry ducked into a grove of trees. What do you make of it, Mr. Big Brain? She asked. You read a lot of books about ancient architecture. Roman, Barry whispered. I guess somewhere around 4050 AD or so. Are you serious? Allison exploded. You must be joking. Barry shook his head. I wish I was, but this is way, way back in time. I don't think we're gonna find any internet service providers around here. I'd say we're around the mid 1400s AD. I'm talking Vandal, Visigoths, and Huns. He shaded his eyes with a hand and scanned the village for life. What I don't understand is why the village seems deserted. There's not a soul stirring. Allison craned her neck and joined in the surveillance. It does seem peaceful enough, she remarked. What are those rows of poles near the entrance of the town? It looks like something is on them. She turned to Barry, who shrugged. Lead on, let's find out, he said. Allison started towards the deserted village. It's obvious that the town has been abandoned. What danger could there be? Oh, let me think, replied Barry. We could be attacked by savage Huns and slit open from stomach to neck. We could be... I get the picture, said Allison, so we'll be careful. Arr! Gasped Barry as he pointed at the rows of tall spikes ahead. They were now close enough to make out exactly what was on the poles. Heads! Cried Barry. Human heads! What? Sputtered Allison. She turned to look. A chill tricked down her spine. She froze in shock. Lining the entrance of the tiny town were two long rows of tall wooden poles. On the top of each pole was the severed head of a person. These heads were both young and old. The bodies from which they'd been hacked were nowhere in sight. What a ghastly sight, Allison muttered. She shuddered. Who would do such a barbaric thing? Attila, Barry stated with certainty as he stared at the grisly rows of severed heads. Attila the Hun, he clarified, around 400 around 448 AD. Attila turned towards Italy after losing one of the decisive battles in history to the Roman general Flavius Attius at Chalons. Even though Attila lost over 250,000 warriors at Chalons, he rallied his men and began to ravage Italy. Barry gulped, mounting the heads of captured villagers on on poles was one of Attila's calling cards. Allison turned to Barry. You know all that off the top of your head, she paused, so to speak. I did a report on Attila last year, explained Barry. I got an A. What do we do now? Allison asked. Scram, instructed Barry. In a big hurry, blood is dripping from those severed heads. Attila and his barbaric horde could be camped over any of these nearby hills. Wait! Shrieked Allison as her eyes dripped down the rows of pole. Oh no, no, how horrible! Her hands shot up to her face as she began to sob loudly. She dropped to her knee and wept hysterically as her entire body shook. Barry wondered what she'd seen that disturbed her. Together they witnessed terrible cruelty, death and destruction in Galliana. Never before had Allison broken down so completely. Barry scanned the head of the snake. Vidal! He cried in utter horror. One of the heads on the poles was that of Vidal, the guardsman from the campaigner's arena. The gatekeeper had not sent Vidal home. Instead, Vidal had been dispatched to Earth, where he'd met his doom at the hands of Attila the Hun's savage horde. Tears trickled from Barry's eyes. He lowered his gaze. At the base of the stake Vidal's head hung was his laser sword. The laser had been deactivated. It looked like the hilt of an ordinary sword. Whoever had killed and beheaded Vidal had tossed it aside as useless. Barry walked over and picked it up. We may need this, he said. A last bit of help from our good old friend. Barry went over to Allison and gently helped her to her feet. I know Vidal would want you to have this, he said. He handed her the sword. He snipped and wiped her face from her sleeve. The flow of tears ceased. Allison took the sword from Barry. Now let's get out of here, he urged. Attila could have lookouts nearby. The two friends hurried away from the ruins of the ransacked village. They followed a dirt trail that led back to the hills. As they reached the peak of a small rise, they found they were no longer alone. Waiting for them at the bottom of the slope were 6 barbarian soldiers mounted on horses. The soldiers were armed with shields and spears that had short, narrow heads. They were wearing skins and no armor. Their hair was long and disheveled. They wore no helmets. At first sight of Barry and Allison, a fierce-looking Hun wildly kicked his horse's flanks, urging it to charge. The man was the biggest of the 6 warriors. His burly frame bounced on the back of his black steed as it approached Barry and Allison at a wild gallop. The barbarian raised his spear as he neared his intended victims. There's no place to run, Barry called. We'll be skewered on the lanes like two skish kebabs. It was then that Allison noticed the shield the warrior was carrying. It was different from the shield of his companions who were calmly enjoying the savage spectacle. That's Vidal's repulsion shield, said Allison in a voice that chilled Barry's blood. Allison hit the activation button on Vidal's laser sword. The searing red beam instantly materialized. The charging soldier reached back and launched his spear. The javelin whizzed through the air. Barry dove to the ground as the lane struck in the ground where he had stood an instant earlier. Armed with the laser sword, Allison stood her ground as the barbarian thundered up on his steed. The brute reached for another spear as his horse wheeled towards Allison. He prepared to drive its point into her body. Allison had heeded her combat lessons well back in Galliana at the campaigner's arena. At just the right moment, she dashed in beneath the barbarian's defenses and slashed across his vulnerable midsection. The laser sword hacked through the skin the warrior wore and tore open his belly. His entrails spilled out of a gaping wound. He toppled from his horse and fell dead at Allison's feet. You should have used the repulsion shield you stole, you fool, said Allison as she took the shield from her lifeless adversary. That one was for Pitol. Catch the horse, Barry implored fervently. Don't let it get away. The fallen warrior's mount reared back on its hind legs. Barry and Allison frankly tried to snare its loose reins, but to no avail. The horse turned and bolted back towards the 5 soldiers. Death to the Roman vermin! One of the remaining barbarians shouted. The 5 nudged their horses. They all began to charge. Is this really it? Barry said. He pulled the dead man's lance out of the ground. We're finished for sure. The lance trembled in his shaky hands. Suddenly, a pale horse and a rider thundered from the trail from behind them. The sleek white steed beat the barbarian's mount to the top of the hill. Barry and Allison spun to meet what they thought was a sneaky attack from the rear. Their eyes widened in shock when they saw what the rider was. A Saquon warrior? Quick! Open the saddle behind me, the second warrior told Allison. The mystery rider reached down and yanked her up onto the horse's broad back. I am Soft Wind, the Turok of this time, he stated calmly. Next he pulled Barry off. Soft Wind turned the reins of his horse. Despite the added weight, the valiant white stallion bolted off like a streak of ivory lightning. It easily outdistanced the barbarians coming up the opposite side of the hill. Before Attila's lookouts reached the top of the slope, Softwind and his new charges had vanished from sight. Over a hill and down a secret trail towards another village, Softwind rode. I used the mystical powers of Turok to find you, the Saquon hero explained. Unlike other Turoks before and after me, I used the light burden's magic in the ways of peace rather than violence. I never used the light burden as a source of weapons of destruction. Huh? Sputtered Barry. You mean you're a pacifist? You don't believe in fighting? That is so, Softwind answered. I could have done battle with Attila's men. I could have killed them using one of the lethal weapons in the Turok arsenal, but it was just as easy to snatch you from their grasp and escape. That way, more people did not have to die. You sound like my brother, said Allison. He's Turok in the future. What about the people in that other village we saw? Barry broke in. Why didn't you rescue them from Attila and his barbaric band? We saw their heads on poles. Alas, sighed Softwind sadly, I was too late to save them. My magic is no flawless. They were now close to a small remote settlement. Peasants came out to greet Softwind. Barry looked up at Softwind and shook his head. I know Turoks aren't supposed to interfere with the course of history, but how can you allow Attila to slaughter so many innocent people? You're supposed to be a protector of Earth. Attila is one of history's worst mass murderers, Barry pointed out at Softwind's light burden. All you have to do to stop him is to pull a weapon out of there. Softwind shook his head. The white hooded robe he wore quivered as he did so. That will never happen, he told Barry. I've told my friends in this village to give you food and shelter. Sleep here in peace tonight. Tomorrow I shall return. Softwind wheeled his horse and galloped off. Come, my young friends, invited an old woman. I am Levia. Softwind rescued my grandson from a slave trader. Come to my house. I have food prepared. Thank you, Livia, Allison said. Oh boy, Barry mumbled. Food, what a concept. I'm starved. Livia welcomed the 2 young strangers into her humble abode. She fed them goat's milk, cheese, bread, dried fish, and fruit. It was a delicious meal. After eating, the 2 weary friends cuddled up near the hearth in front of a fire. Soon they fell into a deep sleep. It was almost dawn when the thunder of horses' hoofs and the screams of terrified villagers woke Allison and Barry from their slumber. What's going on? Barry cried as he rubbed his sleep from his eyes. I don't know, Allison answered. Cries of alarm and anguish filled the air. There were shrieks and sobs. Livia stumbled into the room. The barbarians! She cried as she toppled forward. Stuck in her back was a small spear like the one Barry had dodged on the hill. A swarm of wild warriors burst into the hut. They quickly overpowered Allison and Barry. "Let me go!" yelled Allison as she struggled and tried to grab the deactivated laser sword that was lying on the floor. "Hold the wench still!" a tall, lean Hun who's just entered the hut ordered. He was dressed in animal skins. He wore a long dagger and carried a lance and a shield. The other parted ranks so their fierce leader could advance. The thing that struck Allison and Barry most about the barbarian commander was his piercing eyes. They seemed to burn with an evil light. He stepped up and thrust a pointed finger in Allison's face. "Is this the girl who slew Alem on the slope?" he asked. "It is, mighty Attila," answered another warrior. "I saw her clearly as the ghost spirit of the white speed whisked her away from our charging horses." "Are you really Attila the Hun?" Barry bluttered. "Silence, worthless dog!" Attila snapped. He turned to his soldiers. "I do not believe in ghosts or magic. Gold and jewels mean nothing. All power comes from this." He raised his spear. We must teach these fools not to resist their destiny. They are conquered people. They must submit to the will of Attila." Then he smiled to reveal 2 rows of yellow crooked teeth. "Slaughter everyone in the village," he ordered. "Lop off the heads of these 2 young whelps and stick them on poles." Attila the Hun laughed a hideous, sinister laugh as the struggling captives were dragged outside by his men. Oh, shit. Ugh. Chapter 10. Ugh. Okay, so now we're back to Joshua. Sorry about that. Joshua Farseed reached the Dome teleportation stadium just as the last human selected for the calling process had passed through the entrance gate. "Don't! Stop!" Josh yelled as he raced forward. 4 heavily armed robot guards closed the large iron gates and sealed the only passageway into the center. "Hold, human!" a robot guard ordered when he spied Josh. "You are not one of the chosen. Advance no further." The guard leveled his blaster weapon at the rapidly approaching second warrior. He was quickly joined by another robot guardsman. "Halt or you will be dispatched." The first guard screeched into a metallic voice. More robots appeared. Josh did not halt, he just kept coming. "Dispatch the human fool," the guard ordered. The robots opened fire. Blam! A blast to Josh's right narrowly missed him. Blam! A blast to his left exploded as he zigzagged to the side. Blam! Josh cut to the opposite side like a running back. And a third shot missed. Kaboom! A 4th shot came the closest. It sent the young Turok hurtling up into the air. He regained his balance in midair, somersaulted, and landed on a crouch. Josh hurriedly reached into the light burden, pulled out his tech bow, and rose to a standing position, launching tech arrows as he straightened up. A tech arrow struck the first guard in the forehead. Boom! His metal skull exploded into thousands of twisted scrap. A second arrow intended for another robot guardsman was on target. It shattered the robot's chest, incinerating its internal mechanisms. 2 more arrows sped through the air as laser blasts hit the ground near Turok's steady feet. The remaining robots were blown apart. Twisted arms, legs, and torsos flew in a dozen different directions at once. Joshua paused to scope out the locked stadium gates before him. He fitted another tech arrow to his bow and took precise aim. The bowstring twag sending the shaft forward towards its target. Full size, thought Josh as the lock gates rocket and then fell open. Josh ran into the dimly lit, deserted tunnel that led towards the center of the stadium. He could hear the excited twittering of the crowd of 250,000 people. Suddenly, the lights in the tunnel went black as a power surge drained electric energy from a... Oh, fuck. Holy shit, that scared me again. Hello, Felix. I'm showing the shota? What do you mean? I'm not a shota. I'm not a shota. Hello, Felix. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. Very happy Saturday. Feliz sábado. Reading the freaking Turok novel because that's what I do. Wait. Also, where the hell did you get the idea that I'm a shota? My model is more of a twink. I thought it was fanfiction. It is fanfiction. Everything is fanfiction. No, you need to get your eyes checked. You need to get your eyes checked. Actually, how much... I want to get another model now. I hate it. I hate it. I want to get another model now. There is two... Ow. Ow. So I'm surprised I survived that. Oh yeah, now I gotta now I have to get another model. Thank you for the aiming high. I think no. Hell no. Hell no. Well, depends on what you mean. Oh no, you and your new carnival. I will change it then. Just to mess with you. I will change the model just to mess with you. I'm gonna get one of those models which is like the complete opposite. Go. Try. Attempt it. There's no crime until it actually happens. Wow. Wow. Oh no. Terrorism. Wait. I'm already a terror. I'm already a... What is it called? A terror to the people. At least on Twitter. So you're not actually... You're actually doing something... Yes. I got my bases covered on that one. Water. I need water. Where am I? Where was I? Suddenly, the lights in the tunnel went black as a power surge drained energy from all stadium sources. The loud hum of the drain sounded like an angry nest of hornets. Josh froze. He knew what the ominous sound meant. The cooling had begun. The tunnel lights flickered and came back on. Josh raced forward. At the entrance of the stadium center, he came upon two more android guardsmen. Pulling his talon from the light burden, he hastily and unceremoniously reduced them to rubble by hacking off first their heads and then their limbs. Josh proceeded into the massive stadium. The sight that he beholded had a mesmerizing effect on him. He slowly looked up. The huge bowl consisted of 100 rows. Each row was filled with 2,500 humans. Each row uniformly ascended by climbing up the stadium and moving ever closer to a special teleportation area located at the top of the dome. In the center of the dome, a pointed object pulsed with energy. The people selected for the calling believed it to be the source of a teleportation beam. In reality, it was a dematerialization device, providing a one-way ticket to nowhere. They're being vaporized, Josh gasped. They're being reduced to scattered atoms and they don't even suspect what's going on. Josh turned and saw that the top row of the stadium was vacant. 2,500 of his fellow humans had already been sacrificed. The stadium dimmed again, then the dematerialization device glowed and hummed. A halo of bright light engulfed the people sitting in the highest row. The crowd cheered as the dome pulsed with power. No! Josh cried. His plea fell on deaf ears. When the lights brightened, the top row of the stadium was once again vacant. Another 2,500 people had been systematically annihilated by the evil robot regime. No more human lives will be sacrificed. Josh bowed as he leaped into the stands. He began to push through packed rows of humans. They became angered by the interruption of the long-anticipated journey. Who are you? A young scientist demanded. Josh ignored the man and brushed past him. Sit down, you insane fool, an artist hollered. You've halted the calling. You're not being sent to Mars. Josh screamed back as he made his way to the stadium rows. You're being vaporized, dematerialized, murdered. The robots are killing off humans so that they can take over Earth. Josh kept climbing. His destination was the top row of the stadium, where he could take a shot at the dematerialization device. His goal was to destroy or disable it. He struggled through row after row of humans, eagerly waiting for the calling to resume. A group of elite android troopers stood into the stadium core. There! Cried a mechanical captain as he pointed to Josh in the stands. There is the intruder. 50 robot warriors rushed into the stands after the human prey. An android guard fired his blaster. His shot missed Josh, but it hit a young woman. The top of her head was ripped off, spilling her brains over to the people near her. Screams filled the air. Shoot him down, the android captain commanded. It does not matter if you kill other humans in the process. They are only here to be killed anyway. Another robot fired. The blast mortally wounded two men near Josh. He continued to climb. He dared not return fire while he was on the move. If he fired at the robots in the crowd and missed, more innocent lives might be lost. Blast the intruder! Dispatch him at once! The commander screamed. Josh turned. He focused into the robot captain. The captain was standing in the open. Josh reached into the light burden and withdrew a high-powered rifle that fired metal-piercing explosive bullets. Josh looked through the weapon's scope. He lined up the crosshairs on the captain's face and squeezed the trigger. Blam! The explosive projectile sped away. It hit the captain between his glowing eye sensors. The bullet bored into the robot's metal face. An instant later, the robot blew up as its head exploded from the inside out. Josh turned and took careful aim at another robot guard. He fired. He turned, aimed, and fired again. Twice more, he repeated the process. 4 robot guardsmen exploded in rapid succession. Seek cover in the crowd, a robot sergeant called. Use the humans as cover. The robot instantly obeyed and ducked into the squirming patch of hysterical humans. Josh continued his climb. Finally, he reached the top of the stadium. He was now close enough to the dematerialization device to risk a shot. He pulled out his grenade launcher. Placing the weapon on his shoulder, he fired twice. The grenades hit the device and exploded but did not damage. It must have a protective shield, Josh surmised. He dropped the grenade launcher and jacked out his firestorm cannon. He raised it and squeezed off a burst of fire. The bullets hit the device and ricocheted off without inflicting a dent or even a scratch. Josh was reaching into his light burden, searching for a more powerful weapon, when a robot stood up in the middle of the crowd and took a shot at him. A searing laser blast nicked Josh's forehead. His head began to swim. He felt like he was gonna pass out. Pain gnawed at his skull. He began to lose consciousness. Joshua battled to keep his senses. Concentrating with all of his might, he reached deep into his subconscious will. He clenched his teeth and tried to steady himself. It was no use. He dropped to one knee. Control was slipping away. If he passed out now, the people in the stadium would die. He would die. And what about Allison and Barry? Would they die too? A flash illuminated his hazy thoughts. A picture of his sister and friend formed in his mind's eye. He saw them in the Midwest plains in the middle of a pitched tribal battle. They were rescued by a Turok. The face of that Turok became clear. I am Tall said the Turok. You must not give in to the pain. You must save the people. Their fate is in your hand. You are the Turok. The image faded and another quickly formed. Barry and Allison were hunkered down in a foxhole in France sometime after D-Day. An American soldier was with them. His face was crystal clear. Sergeant Turok reporting, kid. Greyhawk Fireseed said. Trust in yourself, pal. Forget about destroying the device. Get the people out of there. Get them to a safe place. The sergeant vanished. Josh Ned saw and heard a strange man dressed in white robes. He was astride a white horse. You transported 3,000 people from Mars to Earth, Softwind said. There is no difference between 3,000 and 2,000 where a Turok is endowed with your unlimited powers. The folding eye, Josh yelled as he regained his senses. I'll use it to find a portal large enough to transport these people to a safe place. Good idea, brother Turok, said Yannick. Yannick? Josh cried out as he opened his eyes and saw his friend beside him. How did you get here? Yannick smiled. I too have a folding eye, he said. Until now, I never had much use for this, nor the confidence to utilize its power, but I thought you could use some help. The robot guardsmen started firing again. Laser blasts from below exploded around the two Turoks. In Yannick's hand was his stormbow. He fired it with amazing accuracy. A robot exploded to the right and another to the left without injuring any of the nearby panic-stricken humans. I'll keep the androids off your back, Yannick said. You'll find a fall gate opening big enough to get these people through before the robots reactivate the dematerialization ray. At this point, we're just a minor glitch in the process. We can't hold out much longer, and the cooling is certain to resume. Yannick fired 3 more shafts. His skill with a bow was great. 3 more robot guards were destroyed. Listen to me, Josh yelled out to the anxious crowd. If you want to leave, join hands. I'm gonna get you all out of here. Join hands and wait for my signal. The crowd buzzed as the battle continued. The people in the stands now realized they were not being teleported to Mars. The treacherous robots had carelessly demonstrated their disregard for human life. It was now crystal clear that the people were being slaughtered by the thousands, by the robots who were hoping to wrestle control of Earth away from their human masters. Calls of support for Josh and Yannick echoed from various sections of the dome stadium. Josh dipped down his folding eyes frantically. He began to search for a portal large enough to transport over 200,000 people. He loses his arm and he dies, and then he dies in Turok 3. Oops. Turok time, hell yeah. Hello, Dracid. Welcome. We're having a wonderful Saturday today. Currently reading Turok novel number 4, Path of Destruction, on chapter 10. Yes, chapter 10. This novel is about what is his name? Joshua being sent to the future, and he has to stop what is it called? Freaking robots. They somehow merged the Terminator and Turok. I guess it kind of works. It kind of works, except that in Terminator, the robots use nukes, and in here they use particle accelerators, and everything is still crystal clear. I mean, pristine, clean, very, very well constructed. There's no destruction. Except for the virtual reality that the humans are put on. It's kind of like in the Matrix. They're being put in the Matrix. Where was I? Let's see. Somewhere around here. Okay, here I'm gonna read from here again, I guess. Okay. Listen to me, Josh yelled out to the anxious crowd. If you want to live, join hands. I'm gonna get you all out of here. Join hands and wait for my signal. The crowd buzzed as the battle continued. The people in the stands now realized they were not being teleported to Mars. The treacherous robots had carelessly demonstrated their disregard for human life. It was now crystal clear that the people were being slaughtered by the thousands, by the robots who were hoping to wrestle control of Earth away from their human masters. Calls of support for Josh and Yannick echoed from various sections of the domed stadium. Josh tipped down his folding eye. Frantically, he began to search for a portal large enough to transport over 200,000 desperate people out of the stadium. Mustering all of his skill and Turok savvy, he found the fall gate opening he needed. Josh glanced down and saw that Yannick had rested his bow. The first wave of robot soldiers had been completely destroyed. A new wave was sure to follow. We must haste if we are to survive, Yannick said. We will survive, Josh replied. The human race will survive and flourish again. Josh turned to the crowd. The dematerialization device began to glow and pulse with new energy. Quickly, he shouted. Everyone join hands. Pass the word. Join hands. The instructions to link hands passed swiftly along the crowd. Josh looked at Yannick. He reached out his palms. Take my hand, he said. Yannick nodded and clasped Josh's hand within his own. Then he reached down and joined hands with the nearest human in the crowd. Let's go, Josh called as he jumped into the open portal. Gradually, the huge crowd flowed out of the stadium and into a massive full gate opening. The astonished people were sucked out of harm's way and reappeared through another opening just outside the city. As the mass of humanity exited the portal from the Netherscape, they were greeted by the former Martian colonists. Josh had purposely led those selected for calling to those from the Martian colony. It was his method of joining forces and raising an army to battle the tyranny of the robots. Hours later, a crowd of enraged humans clustered around Josh and Yannick. In the group were people saved from the recent calling, ex-colonies of Mars, and members of the anti-bot movement, transported to the meeting place by Yannick. Yannick was beginning to master the use of the folding eye. Quiet! Yannick called as he raised his arms in the air to silence the buzzing crowds. Joshua Fireseed, the legendary protector of Earth, has something to say. The crowd cheered wildly and then became still. They all knew who Josh was. He'd saved members of all three groups from ultimate death. The robots knew we're here, Josh called out, and robots don't know fear. They only calculate odds. If the odds were in their favor, they'd be attacking us at this instant. The odds favor us because we're humans. We're their creators and their masters. Josh paused. The battle lines are now drawn. You can't be fooled any longer. It's time to retake control of our planet. The time has come to fight. A resounding cheer rose from the crowd. Josh waved his arms to calm the responsive group. To win, you need a resourceful and courageous leader. Yannick is that leader. He is your Turok. The crowd cheered even louder. Yannick will lead us to victory, somebody shouted. The Turok will help us defeat our robot enemies, another person cried. Yannick turned to Josh. I will have my chance for glory, Yannick said. But what about you? Oh yeah. Hell yeah. Turok is anti-AI. Turok is fighting against the AI uprising on Twitter. Or so I say. Where am I? Where did I leave? Yannick turned to Josh. I will have my chance for glory, Yannick said. But what about you? What will you do? Joshua Farseed. I have unfinished business on both Earth and Galliana, Josh replied. Now that I finally mastered the use of the folding eye, my first order of business is to find and rescue my sister Allison and my friend Barry. Rescue? Yannick muttered as he puzzled. Are they in danger? Josh nodded. When I was dazed by that head wound in the stadium, I heard the voices of Turok from other times. They all gave me good advice, Josh said. One was Softwind, an ancient wise man who abhorred war and used his mystic power only in non-violent ways. As I spoke to him, I sensed that Allison and Barry were in danger. I got to go to them now. Josh reached up and flipped down his folding eye. He ran and leaped into a nearby fold gate opening, vanishing from view as he entered the Netherscape. Farewell, mighty Turok, Jaini called after him. Farewell and thanks. Chapter 11. Do a stretch. Oh man, that felt good. Chapter 11. Now a skilled traveler in the Netherscape, Joshua Farseed easily controlled his direction and speed. He navigated himself to the exact portal that would provide him access to Earth's distant past. Josh halted and peered through the huge fold gate opening. It gave him a view of the battle-scarred Italian countryside in the year 4048 AD. The young Turok then sighted the village he was searching for. It was a remote mountain settlement recently invaded and ransacked by Attila the Hun's marauding horde. In the center of the village, amid the smoking ruins and bloody carnage, two young captives were kneeling before a burly behemoth of an executioner. These prisoners were blindfolded and had their hands bound behind their backs with leather straps. "We're going to die!" Barry groaned. "Nothing can save us this time." "Don't be such a fatalist," Allison answered. "We haven't cashed in our chips yet. Softwind saved us once. Maybe he'll come back." Thanks for the pep talk," Barry murmured in despair. "I'll try to keep my chin up. It'll give the guy with the sword a clear shot at me." "Enough of this idle chatter," shouted Attila. "Silence their wagging tongue. Cut off their heads, starting with the boy." "Hey!" yelled out Barry. "I'm not a boy. I'm a young adult, and I'm damn proud of my marketing demographic category." Attila snarled angrily. "Enough! Do it now!" The executioner raised the long blade of his razor-sharp sword. Suddenly, Attila looked up. The floating body of a strange warrior appeared through a hole in the sky. Terror registered on the face of the normally fearless barbarian. He staggered back in shock. Attila pointed at the ghostly apparition as it descended towards him. "It is a flying man!" the executioner cried in astonishment. He dropped his sword. The superstitious executioner fell to the ground beside him and buried his face in the dirt. "Save me! It is a demon! Avenger of the clouds! Save me!" he yelled. Attila's men panicked at the chilling sight of the young Turok plunging to earth from a fold gate opening. Josh landed near Barry and Allison as pandemonium spread through the barbarian ranks and file. Horses whined and ran off. Men begged for mercy or fled. "What's going on?" Barry cried. "Is it Softwind?" Allison asked. Josh reached out with both hands and yanked the blindfolds of Barry and Allison. "Josh!" Allison shouted excitedly. A huge smile spread across her face. How? No time to explain, Josh said, silencing his sister and friend. Josh picked up the executioner's swords and cut through the straps binding their backs. Then he glowered at the shaking Attila and threw the sword at his feet. It's not nice to chop off people's heads, Attila, he scolded. Josh turned to Allison and Barry. He held out his hand. Take hold, he instructed. They clutched Josh's hand. The young Turok bounded skyward. The three teens plunged into a spatial portal and vanished from sight. Attila the Hun scratched his mangly head of matted hair. It is an evil omen, he muttered to himself. Then he stormed off to join his fleeing men. In the Netherscape, Barry and Allison were led through the haze by Josh. So you've finally gotten the hang of this Gate thing, Allison said to her brother. Yup, Josh replied. All I really needed was some practice. Was it as easy as learning to execute a double play? Allison continued. Forget ancient aliens. It's ancient Turoks. Every sighting of ancient aliens, it's all Turok. It's all me. We're everywhere. You go watch the Ancient Aliens, what is it called, show on History. Yeah, it's all us. It's all Turok. It's all me. I'm everywhere and nowhere at the same time. That, you know what? That actually sounds more believable than whatever the Ancient Alien shows say. There is a video about it's 20 minutes long. That details the story of Earth by according to ancient aliens, and replace all the mentions of ancient aliens with Turok, and it makes more sense than whatever History Channel is trying to sell you. Wait. Oh shit! Fucking, it ended. Oh, the freaking track ended. Oh well, okay. Let me reload. Okay. Freaking. How long is this? 2 hours, 11 minutes. Oh, no wonder it ended so abruptly. Josh replied. Okay, in the Netherscape, Barry and Allison were led through the haze by Josh. So you finally gotten the hang of this Gate thing, Allison said to her brother. Yup, Josh replied. All I really needed was some practice. Was it as easy as learning to execute a double play? Allison continued. Please don't use that word, Barry groaned. He shrugged from head to toe. Which word? Allison wanted to know. Execute, Barry answered. He shrugged again. Josh began to chuckle. Allison laughed too. It's not funny, remarked Barry indignantly. We've been through tribal wars, suicide missions, and barbarian raids. We've met some of your Turok ancestors along the way. Before that, we battled dinosaur aliens and bloodthirsty warmongers. My nerves are shot. What I need is a long rest in my own bed, in my own room, in my own time, on my own planet, preferably with the latest version of Space Killers loaded onto my PC and a large pizza with lots of mushrooms. Oh, replied Josh. Are you hinting? Wait. Wait, why did that message not go through? Oh no. Oh no, YouTube knows the truth. YouTube knows that you know the truth. Oh, shut it down. No. Alex Jones was right. They're something the frogs. No, but I'm serious. Why the hell did that comment not go through? I don't really have moderation set at it as anything. Let's see. Live. Oh, now it showed on the live chat. But if I select top chat, it doesn't freaking show up. The dragons you're seeing hieroglyphics everywhere. I genuinely believe those are actual dinosaurs. See, I told you. Oh, okay, so I have to set that thing to live chat so that I can read the comment, but it didn't show up on the overlay. Yeah, it probably was because of that. Oh, I see. That's why it didn't show on the overlay. But it shows up on live chat. Like, if I switch between top chat and live chat, it loads your comment, but it doesn't load it on the overlay, you know, where the message shows up on stream. So it's kind of weird. I don't think I can fix that unless I do something with the CCS so that the live chat is always set to default instead of top chat. Live chat pay, blah blah blah. Yeah, I probably have to dig through the CCS, I mean the CSS, and see if I can disable that. Shut it down. They know too much. They know too much. The truth must be silenced. For the masses are not ready for the truth. I'll go back. Okay. My nerves are shot. What I need is a long rest in my own bed, my own room, in my own time, on my own planet, preferably with the latest version of Space Killers loaded onto my PC, and a large pizza with lots of mushrooms. Oh, replied Josh. Are you hinting at the fact that you might want to, oh, I don't know, go home, maybe, as in Oklahoma? Okay, best bot, no problem. What? Sputtered Allison. You mean you can take us home? You finally know how to get back to Earth? Our Earth? A brightness that had been absent from a long time began to glow in Allison's eyes. Yahoo! Home, here we come, shouted Barry in jubilation. Then he thought for a moment. Hey, where have you been anyway, young man? While we were bouncing all over time, having to be rescued by other Turoks. Earth in the future, replied Josh. The year 3033. Only the future? Allison asked Allison. Nowhere else? Just at one place, or one time, I should say, answered Josh. How come you stayed in one time period while we ping-pong all over? Asked Barry. Josh patted the light burden at his eyes. This, he replied, it anchored me in the first place I landed. Otherwise, I would have been bouncing through the Netherscape forever. We all would have. The gatekeeper has no control over where he sends his passengers. Some must still be bouncing from full gate opening to full gate opening endlessly if they haven't met their doom yet at one of their stops. The expressions on Barry and Allison's faces turned sullen. Thoughts of Vidal's head resting on a pole filled their mind. They told Josh about their slain friends. One of the many victims of the gatekeeper's treachery, said Josh sadly. After a few moments of silence, Barry spoke up. Time to go home, he asked softly. We just have one short detour to take along the way, Josh said. A detour? Asked Allison. To where? This won't take long, Josh promised. It's something I have to do. It's sort of tying up a loose end. Not that I'm complaining, Allison said, but exactly where is this loose end to be found? In Galliana, Josh replied stoically. Chapter 12. Stupid humans! mocked the gatekeeper as he admired the booty he had acquired from Josh. They were so easily fooled. To think I was worried that the new Turok suspected the real reason I'm hiding here in Galliana. That youthful bungler doesn't have the brains or skill to teleport a flea from one dog to another. Some mighty protector of Earth he turned out to be. The gatekeeper picked up the sparkling disco ball Josh had given to him as payment from his passage to Earth. He stood there admiring the odd object. Turok comes face to face with the most infamous criminal in the universe, and all he does is take me for sending him and his friends to their doom. The gatekeeper cackled diabolically. Galliana has turned out to be a most hospitable and profitable adopted home. I wouldn't get too comfortable here if I were you, gatekeeper, Joshua Farseed said as he, Barry, and Allison stepped out of the full gate opening in the gatekeeper's terminal. You're back, the gatekeeper hissed in astonishment. That's impossible. No one ever returns. It is not impossible when you're the Turok, you six-eyed geek, Allison corrected. Josh knows his way around portals, full gate openings, and the Netherscape, as well as he knows his way around a baseball diamond, Barry added. Barry looked at Josh and slapped him a high five, and he's damn good second baseman. What do you want here? The gatekeeper inquired nervously. Do you want your things back? A deal's a deal. They are mine now. Tell me what you want. Justice, Josh said sternly, without a flicker of fear in his voice. I'm here for justice, gatekeeper. Josh advanced on the alien harbor master. You've claimed to have sent lots of travelers home from Galliana, he said. I think it's time someone sent you home from your native world. That's why I came back, gatekeeper. I'm gonna send you home, and I'm not gonna charge you a single cent for the journey. Josh smirked. He closed in, herding the gatekeeper towards a particular opening he'd spied through his folding eye. No! Gasped the evil galactic travel agent. I can't go home. I'm wanted by the authorities on my planet. If I return there, I'll instantly be imprisoned. I broke out of jail. I'll be sent back to the sanitarium for the criminally insane to serve out the rest of my 500-year sentence. I won't go back. Josh stepped to the left. The gatekeeper drifted backward into a spatial opening in the floor of his gateway edifice. The gatekeeper wobbled on the edge of the full gate opening and then toppled into it. No! He shrieked as he plunged into the spatial portal. So long, gatekeeper, Josh called. I hope you enjoyed your long trip home. I'm sure your fellow Karobits will be waiting for you with open arms. And with handcuffs, Barry added. 3 pairs of handcuffs to be exact. Josh rejoined Allison and Barry. He rubbed his hands together. Well, that concludes our little tour of Galliana, the Netherscape, and Earth, past and future. If you two will board Turok Flight 714 for Earth, I'm sure I can get you there without any further delays. The only question I have, began Barry, is, what in-flight movie are you showing, and do we get those little bags of peanuts? Chapter 13. Clay Jakashaw. Jakashawa? I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing the name right. Josh's 8-year-old nephew was sitting in the living room of his parents' house on the Saquon Indian Reservation in Oklahoma. Clay started up at the closed door of his uncle's room at the top of the stairs. He wondered why his aunt Allison had taken Barry Hakowitz up to Josh's room. He also wondered where Allison, Barry, and Josh had disappeared to when he went up to investigate what he had thought was Allison screaming. Meanwhile, out in the kitchen, his mom, Vivian Jakashawa, was preparing coffee for Martin Sunhope, a Saquon tribal elder and historian. Josh must accept his role as protector of Earth, Martin said. When Carl Firesteed died, the Turok mantle was passed to him. Vivian poured Martin a cup of fresh brewed coffee. Josh is headstrong, Pip said. He's a lot like our dad. He's been brooding over this Turok thing since he spoke with Carl. I hope Allison and Barry can help snap out of the funk he's in and help him accept his responsibility. Vivian shook her head sadly. She poured herself a cup of coffee. He won't even come out of his room. Up in Josh's empty room, the Turok's light burden appeared out of thin air. It turned upside down, and out tumbled Barry, Allison, and Josh. Thunk, blood, thud. You did it! Barry cried. We're back in your room. We're home at last. He got to his feet. Allison also jumped up. Great job, big bro, she said. But you need to practice the landings. Right, Josh said. He got up and glanced around. I wonder how long we've been gone. We could have been in Galiana for weeks, months, even years. George started to the floor toward the door. I wonder if Pip even missed us. Josh grabbed the doorknob and turned it. He opened the door and stepped out of the hall. Before he could utter a sound, he heard Clay shouting. Hey, Mom! Hey, Mom! Clay yelled. Uncle Josh is back! Vivian rushed out of the kitchen. Josh said. Josh, she said. Welcome back to the real world. Josh gulped. You mean you know? He gasped. What are you talking about? His older sister replied. I'm just glad you finally decided to end your self-imposed isolation. Why don't you, Barry, and Allison join Marty and me for coffee? We can talk about this whole Turok thing. Maybe we can convince you that it's not such a raw deal after all. She doesn't know, Josh murmured to Barry and Allison as they headed downstairs. She was making coffee for Martin when we first came upstairs. She was making coffee for Martin when we first came upstairs, Allison whispered. Barry smacked his forehead with the palm of his right hand as they reached the bottom of the stairs. We've only been gone a few minutes here, he groaned. Nobody here even missed us. I did, said Clay. I heard Aunt Allie scream. Then I went up to Uncle Josh's room, but you guys were all gone. Where did you go? Come on into the kitchen, Squirt, replied Josh. As the next in line to be Turok, I think you deserve to hear this story. Josh, Barry, Allison, and Clay strolled into the kitchen. Martin was sipping his coffee as they entered. Vivian was busy setting up 3 more cups. Some juice, Clay? She asked. Sure, Mom, replied Clay, taking his seat at the table next to Josh. So, Vivian said to her brother, are you going to accept your responsibility and don the mantle of Protector of Earth? Are you going to become the next Turok? Josh smiled and sat down at the table. The eyes of Martin, Vivian, and Clay were all focused on his face. In a word, yes, Josh announced proudly. Good, Martin said Sunhope. Wonderful, added Vivian. She poured coffee for Josh, Barry, and Allison, and juice for Clay. Barry and Allison were trying not to laugh out loud. I have to know, Josh, Vivian persisted as she handed her brother his coffee. What made you change your mind all of a sudden? When this Turok thing first came up, you were totally opposed to the idea. Why are you willing to become Turok now? Vivian, broke Barry. Have we got a story for you? Josh glanced from his best friend to his sister. Barry and Allison couldn't contain themselves any longer. They both howled in glee. Joshua Firesteed, the new Turok, grinned sheepishly. Then he threw back his head, roaring laughter, and began his tale. Turok! And that's it. And the freaking novel ends there. It's just... yeah, the novel ends there. There's not even like an epilogue. What the hell? Wait, let me check my physical novels. Hmm. Does this novel actually end like that? Are you kidding me? Okay, this is the last page. Yeah, this is the last page. The epilogue. Hell yeah. Hang on, this is... Yeah, it ends the same. Josh glanced from his best friend and his sister Barry, and Allison couldn't contain themselves any longer. They both howled in glee. Joshua Farsi, the new Turok, grinned sheepishly. Then he threw back his head, roared with laughter, and began his tale. Okay, so the actual final page is... Enter to win a Turok 2 N64 game and a Nintendo 64 console. Gold key paperbacks, Turok Nintendo sweepstakes official rules. No purchase necessary. How to enter? Fill out this entry blank or type or legibly print your name, address, and age on a 4.5 by 11 inches piece of paper and mail it to the following and mail it to the following address. Gold key paperbacks, Turok Nintendo sweepstakes, PO Box 8150, Grand Rapids, Minnesota 55745 8150. Only one entry per person allowed. All entries must be received by April 29, 1999. Entries must be original. No reproductions accepted. The sponsor is not responsible for lost, late, misdirected, damaged, incomplete, ineligible entries or postal due to mail. Who may enter? Sweepstakes open to legal U.S. citizens ages 10 to 18 as of August 15, 1998. Children of sponsors, employees, affiliates, subsidiaries, and advertising and promotion agencies are not eligible. Prizes: 1 grand prize, 1 Nintendo 64 game, and 1 Turok 2 game cartridge. Approximate retail value $250. All prizes will be awarded. Odds of winning a prize in random drawings depend on the number of entries received. Prizes are not transferable. No prize substitutions or cash values of prizes allowed except at the discretion of a sponsor. All taxes are the responsibility of the winner or their parent, legal guardian. All other expenses, not specified herein, are the sole responsibility of the winning. Drawing conducted on or about May 31st, 1999 by an independent judging agency whose decisions are final on all matters related to the sweepstakes. Winning entries will be selected randomly and categorized. Other conditions. Winners will be notified by mail by June 30, 1999. Winner must claim prize by returning an affidavit of eligibility, waiver of liability, and publicly release executed by them by the parent legal guardian within 21 days of the date of notification or winner will forfeit prize. To receive a list of winners. Yeah. Winner list. To receive a list of winners of prize, send a stampede self-addressed envelope before June 30, 1999 to Golden Books Gold Key paperbacks. To Golden Books Gold Key paperbacks through Nintendo sweepstakes. Winner list available after August 31st, 1999. That was 21 years. Oh, wait. That was 21 years old ago. No. No, 25 years ago. 25 years ago. Holy shit. And that's how it ends. It ends with a legal disclaimer. The novel ends with a legal disclaimer. Hang on. Close. Let me switch to this scene. Yeah, there we go. And also let me. There we go. Reset my avatar. There we go. We're back. There we go. I'm back. So, well, wait. Oh yeah, I wasn't even eligible either. I was born in 1991. I was born in 99, so even if I had like tried to enter the sponsorship, I mean the sweepstakes, I wouldn't have made it unless like somebody else, like my parents had done the sweepstakes. But even then, we weren't in the US. We weren't. I wasn't born in the US, so therefore I wouldn't be. I wouldn't have what is it called? Been eligible either way. Let's see what there we go. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool novel. The first time I read it, that was back in 2013. My physical novel. Hell yeah. Ouch. No, I came to the US in 2004, I think. 2004, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, I came to in 2004 to the US. So, yeah. By then the freaking acclaim was already gone. So, yeah, good luck trying to enter the sweepstakes. Maybe I could have been part of the Turok evolution thing sweepstakes. Oh wait, no, that was the baby. That was the baby. Name your baby Turok, which apparently it's fake. Deep Coyote log, hell yeah. You know it. John Turok. Maybe I can rename myself to John Turok. Rename you? Oh, you meant? Oh no, but that what is it called? The Turok evolution thing. It's fake. It was fake. Google.com. Turok evolution. Name your baby Turok. Yeah. Oh, you know. Hell yeah. I only found out last year. Honestly, I only found that out last year. Were there any babies named Turok in 2002? Be the first on the block to have your name named Turok. The Skyrim dude. Oh yeah, he's freaking. How old is he? Let me look it up. Skyrim baby. Skyrim baby name. Let's see. Contest winner. Dova King Tom Kellermeyer. Kellermeyer? Am I pronouncing his name right? I don't know. Hang on. Let me open up the web browser. Skyrim release date, blah blah blah. How old is he? I think he's 15. And he's red as hell. This kid will forever be angry or mad at his family. How old is he? I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up. His name. Like, I hope it shows up. Age. 2 years ago. Happy birthday. Blah, 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 blah. Where is it? Today is the baby, the 2 years ago. Okay, whatever. Happy birthday, Dwakin. Parents name children. That child may just live long enough to see an update about Elder Scrolls 6. I wonder if they expected to only get 3 games. I've heard that Bethesda has kept their promise to this day, but I'm sure Bethesda has also gave them other games that was published by them. The fact that the backing translates the Dragon Child shows that the backing is indeed the Dragon Child. That's me. Wait, no way, this is the same guy. The kid. Did someone name their kid the backing? I want to know his age. What's his age? Is it gonna load a tweet? Please tell me it's gonna load a tweet. Birthday? No, it doesn't say anything. Happy birthday. When was the contest anyway? Parents, blah, 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 blah. Well, one of them at least, their name is Chubak, blah, blah, blah. He was born on Skyrim's release date, 11/11/11. So 10, let's see, he's 10, 12 years old. No, 13 years old. He turns 14 this year. Holy sh... No, he turns 13 this year. My bad. He turns 13 this year. And apparently they keep... Do they keep getting games? Do they... Please tell me. They ever get rid... Oh no. Wait, does he actually have a... Oh, wait, let's see. Family. Megan and Eric Miller welcomed the baby into the world on 11/11/11. The Vikings' parents were huge fans of the computer game Wonder Life on Scream. An American couple, just did that when the hero has chosen Facebook and like on their children. We thought names couldn't get in crazier. Wait. When we heard that parents had chosen Facebook and like for their children, we thought baby names couldn't get any what? Reject all. Man names his firstborn daughter Facebook. A young Egyptian man has decided to call his firstborn daughter Facebook in a tribute to the social media side rolling country. What? Jamal, who was scraping his enthusiasm for the revolt against President the unorthodox name of express his thanks for developments in Egypt's society, anti-government protests began. The girl's full name is Facebook Jamal Ibrahim, and family and friends have reportedly gathered around the newborn to express their continuing support for the revolution that started on Facebook. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? Why? What about this one? The like. Couple names baby girl after like feature on Facebook. A couple from Israel has named their newborn daughter like after the social networking site feature on Facebook. The girl's new moniker was inspired by a button which allows users to express their endorsement of photos, status, and links. Liar Alder and his wife Bardic live in the town of blah blah blah, Tel Aviv, and said they wanted to name the daughter that was modern and innovative. Okay, I can understand this one because okay, fine. The revolution, it spread to Facebook. Okay, fine, whatever. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool enough. Naming your kid like because you use freaking Facebook. Wait, where is it? Where is it? A Norman, liar, the other wasn't this. Said they wanted a name for their daughter that was modern and innovative. Why? Why? You know what? At least Optimus Prime, Twinkle Sparkle, or whatever the name of the kid was. It sounds cringy. Well, actually, that name is also cringe. That name is also bad. Wait. Optimus Prime Twink. I think it's called Kid. Name. I think it's called something like that. Teenager name Optimus Prime. Still, I think it's this. A real life superhero. Teenager named Optimus Prime tells how he's been ridiculed for his name, but now loves the notoriety it gives him and even has an Audibles tattoo. What? Wait, what? A teenager from Paraguay had a name which transforms him into a real life superhero, Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime, Ismail. Optimus Prime. Okay, this one is at least believable. This one is at least like a, oh, okay, funny name. Cool. But I thought this was the name. But this is the actual name. But there was another kid, Optimus Prime, and it had a My Little Pony name as well. Optimus Prime name. Optimus Prime MLP name, kid name. My Little Pony Transformers kid. Let's see if it shows up. Transformer is a run driver of the MLP. The post according to know the kid. Smith. No, I don't know. I think it may end up having it. This one that I'm looking for, it may have been like a prank. Like somebody just like embedded a story for shits and giggles. Brony's name Berkin after a MLB character. How do I tell my husband kind of name or Prime? Despite the obvious joke, I'm naming Club to Brand. No, I don't think. Yeah, it looks like this. The one that I'm trying to look to search for is might have been like a fake thing. But this gets just name your kid freaking like or Facebook. And I thought I had bad names for a kid name. If I ever have a kid, I'm just gonna give them regular name. I haven't decided. I really haven't decided on what like name to give my first kid. If I do end up getting having a kid, I mean. I'm terrible with names. I'm probably just gonna give them the most generic name possible. Yes. I'm gonna ditch the whole names. He's just gonna be Fireseed. Or I'm just gonna be like wait. If I do give them a name, it's gonna be the same name that I came up with for my VTuber character, which is Honoka. But it's typed like this. Oh crap. Wait. There we go. This is the name I'm gonna give my kid. This is the last name, and this is the oh crap. Oh shit! No. There's one kanji missing. There we go. That's the full name. That's like my full what is it called? VTuber name. Oh shit! And I actually show up. Violence Kill. Yeah, my name. Their name is gonna be Violence Killer Turok Next Generation. But yeah, I'm definitely naming my kid this name. If it's a boy, it's gonna be this name. But if it's a girl, it's gonna be Wait, how the hell did I type the name of my other character? Uh, I don't think it's this. I know it's no, it's not this. Let me see if I can. Let me see what is the full name. I don't have it in like a text file. Am I from the east? I might as well become from the east. I want to become. I'm just gonna move myself to the east. Hang on. Where is the? Oh, here we go. There we go. I do have the copy image address. There we go. This is gonna be her name. If it's a girl, she's gonna have this name, which is Tainaka Hikari. But if it's if it's a boy, it's gonna be Honoka Mamoru. Hell yeah! Oh, and I even added this thing. This is on Twitter. When I redid the thing, the secret origin, the peace kanji, which is pronounced, which is said as ta, the kanji for longevity. Wait, actually, I think I spelled that wrong. Which is pronounced as I, and the kanji for time immemorial, which is naka. The kanji for light, which is pronounced hikari, and the kanji for law and order. And there it is, Tainaka Hikari. And this one is a little. This is the one that I kind of like put a little bit more thought into it. No, never mind. This is the name that I put a little bit more thought into it. This one was a little bit more straightforward. The kanji for fire, which is pronounced hono. The kanji for fruit or seed, which would be, is it on or kun? I don't remember if it's on or kun, the rating, but it's pronounced as ka. The kanji for protection or to protect, which is this one, which is Mamoru, and the kanji for earth, as in planetary earth or as in space. Right here, I put the name is an amalgamation of kanji with their native readings, save for the earth kanji, which takes over the rule reading of Mamoru. It is a reference to Fire Seed name in Turok. No, it's Honoka. What about this one? Much like Mamoru, this name is an amalgamation of kanji. The kanji above do not have the readings that are assigned to them. The name behind the name would be Eternal Light of Peace. I wanted the name and the side of this character to be closer to my all-time favorite character with a Turok spin, hence the similarities to that character, Tanaka Ritsu. There you go. there's my secret lore. Look at it, lore. Okay, so these are just PNGs. But I don't have the freaking full name, like, to just like type it. Oh well. Let me switch back here. Yeah. That's how I'm gonna name my kid. If it's boy, it's gonna be Mamoru. If it's a girl, it's gonna be Hikari. And I'm gonna fight tooth and nail for it. I don't care what my future wife says. Or what I'm gonna be like, okay, we strike a deal. You name one kid, I name another. That way we get the best of both worlds. Oh man, that's cool. I would love to do that. I would freaking love to do that. But first, I need to find wife. Yeah, no problem. So thank you for stopping by tonight to stream. Finish the novel. Next week, I have no idea what I'll be streaming. That's the oh wait. There is also an announcement. I was hoping that the artist may or the person that I contacted, they had like gotten me, I don't know, like at least a draft, but I'm fairly sure that's gonna take a while. I want to check real quick, just in case. No, there's no updates yet. Well, yeah, it's gonna take a while for it to complete anyway. So, the female character of my channel, she is getting an upgrade, a big upgrade. So I will no longer be using a PNG for her. She's gonna be getting her own live 2D. Yeah, yeah, she's getting her own, what is it called, live 2D. That means future videos, assuming I get the art and all and the rigging done, some videos will start to feature her in a live 2D avatar. A live 2D, it depends. There's artists who will work with you just for the art with like $200, but then it depends on whether you want a full body or a, what's it called, a bust avatar. Let's see. I was looking to find a Japanese artist who had like a sale, so I'm pretty much gonna be paying $150 for a full body avatar, but it's just gonna be the art file. It's not. I still need to find somebody to animate it, and that's probably gonna be the one thing that's gonna take me a while to find, because every rigger that I've checked, or at least the ones that I know, they're not taking commissions. Maybe when the artist is done drawing the tutorial, I mean, drawing the avatar, maybe they'll be able to. Maybe by then I'll have like a rigger. If not, then I'll have to. Oh, am I from? If you're referring, if I'm from the east, no, I am not from the east. I am from the south, from what's it called, Mexico. Yeah, there you go. Well, actually, I'm pretty sure I like large majority of the people on YouTube know that. Hang on, but yeah, hang on. Let me, like, for instance, what's his name? X. I'm gonna have to. I hate that it's now called X instead of Twitter. Here we go. Let me show you this. Marb. Okay, here we go. Commissions. I want to copy the URL. So a VTuber avatar, it ranges from different prices. This artist is the one who did my current live to the male character. He also drew the female, the PNG version of the female. Yo quiero Turok Bell. Oh no. I also want that. Okay, backgrounds. Where is the live 2D? Oh, here we go. Live 2D model illustrations. So he charges 350 for just the half body, which means it's just the art pretty much just ends right here. So there's no feet, there's no lower body. But if you want a full body, you have to this is the full price. These are Oh, and this is on the lower, the least expensive, the the cheap options. There are artists who charge like $2,000 just for just for the art. Now rigging. So let's say you wanna get a full body live 2D avatar. So you have to pay $700 and then and then select one of these different rigging options. So for instance, this one, pack one, which is the cheapest, it's just gonna have like really simplistic rigging. It's not gonna be like that lively. It's gonna look a little bit stiff. And then you move on, you continue going, continue going, continue going. What I paid for my avatar, I paid seven. I paid close to $800, but that includes rigging and the art. So he did a really, he kind of like, I don't know if I kind of like chipped out on it, or like if I kind of like scammed him. I feel like I scammed him, but he did a real. When I asked him for the rigging, I was like, okay, so I want my like the VTuber head to be expressive. I don't care about the body. I mainly care about the head because 90% of the time you're not gonna be seeing the body. You're not gonna be looking at the body. And he's like, okay, cool. I'll charge you half the price of the. I'll do you the pack 3, but I'm not gonna include anything complex with the body. And he ended up. I ended up spending 250 instead of 500. And for the full wait, actually he raised his prices. Oh yeah, he raised his prices. When I paid for the art alone, it was 450. Damn, I freaking lucked out. I freaking lucked out. But yeah, these are like the different options you can have for the light to the rigging. The body X, Y, and Z, it's only really something you wanna get when you have what is it's a what's it called, an iPhone X, or or one of the newer iPhones for the tracking. If you don't have an iPhone, then there's no point to on having what's it called, complex body movement, because the a webcam like the webcam that I use for my tracking, it doesn't really track my body. It's only tracking my mouth, my head. In fact, my mouth is not even tracked by the webcam. It's all done with lip syncing, which is this thing right here. I, E, U, E, O, which is the lip syncing used in VTube Studio. If I turn the lip syncing, let me see if I can turn the lip syncing off without resetting live to the. Where is it? I believe it's under settings. No, it's under model settings. Let's see. Camera, parameters, display, virtual spout. Wait, where is it? I know it's under what is it called? Model settings? No, it's not under model settings. It's in one of the. Oh, here we go. Microphone. So right now I have my microphone active. So it's got a lip. My model has lip sync active with a microphone. Now, if I turn off the microphone, you will see that my mouth movements are really stiff, really weird. They don't match what I guess you would say my voice. would sound like. So yeah, like you can tell. I want to block out the camera. So now I'm talking, but because my gosh, crazy amount of VR equipment. Actually, for that, you might if you got VR equipment, you might as well go with what is it called? A 3D model. I believe what is the name of the VTuber? Filian, that's right. So she's a full 3D VTuber. So and with all that VR stuff that she has, she pretty much does a lot of stuff with that with it. You can do a lot of crazy things with it. Let's see. 3D model VTuber. Pretty sure that's how you. Yeah, I think it'll be easier to just look up Filian. Oh wait, that's not that's the wrong page, the wrong web browser source. YouTube.com. Okay, let's see. Filian. Is that how you type her name? Filian. Philly and VTuber model. Let's see. I better hope I find something like tracking maybe. VR tracking. Let's see. 11 minutes. I just want like a really quick video. What? Oh, here we go. Maybe this one. So this is done with VR. This is done with VR tracking. Oh wait, no, that's a really bad example. Let's see. She better have. There better be like a good video about it, and it's amazing. I'm gonna go with this one because why not? So all of this tracking is done with VR. What is it called? With VR. With those VR stuff, the globes and stuff.
Hey boys, that's it. That's literally it. We have full body tracking and chat. It's a little bit scuffed, but we are working on it. It is the first time I've ever done this before, and we're gonna continue to improve on it. See, one of the best parts, chat, about this entire tracking setup. So,
flip you fussy baby.
mods. I am using my desktop microphone for this setup. So that means if I walk away from my desktop, I become distant. I slowly but surely become farther away.
So yeah, that's pretty much VTuber tracking. There's also other VTubers who use VR stuff to. They're essentially VR chat streamers who can do like dances and stuff. But the thing with VTuber VR tracking is that it's you need a really powerful computer to. I mean, if you can run VR stuff, VR video games and stuff, you can run one of these trackers. You just have to set it up correctly, and you can pretty much go absolutely nuts. There is some live 2D models with that look kind of like 3D, but they're still pretty limited compared to an actual 3D model. And the thing with a 3D model is that you can be like completely customize it to your absolute liking. Assuming you get if you get like a good artist, a good 3D modeler, you can go insane with the amount of detail. Although you definitely need to keep the detail low. Otherwise, you're probably gonna make your computer explode if you have like a million polygons on, like, let's say the head or something. But yeah, that is like just one. Oh wait, maybe I can find another 3D VTuber. Rigging? Maybe Avatar. Maybe I'm gonna look up Avatar. 3D model. How about 3D model? 3D model. Making a VTuber. How to make a 2D VTuber. Oh yeah, this is done with Blender. That's Blender and something called BRM. 3D model and texture it. I don't think I'll find another example of 3D model. The HoloLens. Oh wait, the Fubuki 3D model. Let's see. This is from one of the corpus. Yeah, this is from one of the corpus. Hang on, this is kind of low. This is kind of loud. This is kind of like the stuff you can do with 3D, full tracking. So all of this is done with tracking, with like BR stuff and all that, and the model is fully customized for the talent. Although there's still one thing bad, and that is the mouth. I don't know why, but HoloLive, they have really bad mouth tracking for their 2D and 3D models. It looks weird. I guess it's one of those things where you're not meant to actually like look at it. You're just meant to look at it from a distance so that you don't actually see the scuff. Oh yeah, let's see. Hang on, let me switch here, back here. Yeah, yeah. So that's it's a lot of things you can do with VTuber that with 3D models. I mean, although 2D models are also kind of like you can do you can do stuff with 2D avatars, but you're severely limited to what you can do. You can do full body tracking just yet with 2D avatars. You need to find somebody that'll actually go through your request of doing a 2D with full depth. If a full body live 2D is expensive, if a live 2D is expensive enough as is, just imagine paying for a full body live 2D. I know they exist, but they're still in like what is it called? I guess you would say experimental phase. It's mainly to do with the hand tracking. There's still no good way to track hands, even with an iPhone. And what's it called? I think it's called the Arc. What's it called? Beep Breacher. Beep Breacher. It's still kind of very limited, unfortunately. So your best bet for that, for full body tracking, is still just a 3D model with VR chat or what's it called, Bidroid. I forget what is the other one called. But if you got the skill for it, just go for it. You go ahead. The good thing about 3D models is that there's free models that you can experiment with to get your essentially your toes wet. I don't know if that's it right. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, but yeah. So that's a cool stuff. But yeah, like I said, the what's it called? The female character, my female character over here, she's getting a light 2D. I don't know when it's gonna be ready. I know the art is probably gonna be ready by next month. But even then I still need to find the rigger. I I really hope I can find one rigger when the artist is like nearly done. Otherwise I'm gonna be waiting until next year. And also the most likely when I get the new model for the female character, I'll start remaking all of the Turok videos that I've done with the live duty. Which means it's gonna take me quite some time. Or maybe no, maybe not. Maybe what I'll do is I'll continue doing the videos. They want to tuber, hell yeah. I will, maybe what I'll do is I'll continue doing the videos the way I've been doing them, and then switch to the light duty for like special videos. I haven't decided. I don't know if I should like redo all the videos with the live duty, or if I should continue doing them like that, like I've been doing, and only save it for like special videos. But we'll see, because then I still need to experiment with it, with how I'm gonna be doing all that. But yeah, thank you for dropping by tonight's stream. Have a wonderful evening, have a wonderful night, have a wonderful morning, depending on where you live. And next week, I have no idea what I'll be doing next week. Like I said, I don't know. I want to continue God Hand. That is the one game that I want to continue. For Saturday, I don't know what I'll do. Guess I'll continue doing freaking Rage Wars. Yeah, I'll continue freaking. Hell yeah. I will probably continue to Rage Wars. No, wait, there was something that I wanted to do, but I forgot. I forget a lot of things. But yeah. Anything else I wanted to add? Oh yeah, that's right. Well, this has nothing to do necessarily with the channel, but maybe next month I'll start doing like what is it called? On Sundays, I'll start doing like, what do you call it? Like a watch along for anime. No, I'll probably just ping people on Discord because just like I'll be like at everyone, I'm watching anime, come join, and that's it. Come join or don't. I'll bully you in your sleep or something. Oh yeah, that's also another thing that I kind of like plan to do. But first, I need to replace my, what's it called, my hard drive. One of the hard drives that I have is like way too small for. It's the one with the operating system. I need to replace it with a 1 TB because it fills way too quickly whenever I edit videos for YouTube. Like right now, I think I only have like 150 gigabytes left. Yeah, I only have 150 gigabytes of space. If I make like 5 videos, it immediately fills. I get left with like maybe 20 gigabytes. So the first thing I want to do is like, yeah, I need a new hard drive. Most likely I'll just get another BME MB or whatever they're called, and then clone my OS to that drive and then uninstall that drive. Or maybe keep it in there and use it for like a storage thing. So that way I don't have to constantly switch between hard drive and SSD, because I've noticed that trying to edit videos using a hard drive, a regular a regular hard drive from the big burly dudes, it takes a while for things to load. I'm too used to SSD speeds now, so now I just I stayed like for like 10 seconds until the freaking files, videos, or whatever I'm trying to edit, they decide to load. Ooh, SSD, Samsung SSD. I'm gonna buy one of those. I mean, I already have one SSD, but it's not enough. I got one SSD and one MB. I need one more MBE, but I'm gonna buy one that's 1 terabyte big. That way I don't have to worry about space. And then I'll buy another one, but it's gonna be a 4 GB hard drive for stuff that I don't really need, but it takes, but still want to keep. Damn, 4 MBEs, 2 SSDs. I want at least 2 MBEs. I would pay good money for 4 MBEs. And completely get rid of all of my hard drives. I want SSD speeds all the way. Damn. If I show you a picture of my computer, you're gonna be like, why do you have Damn. And that's for an on-site backups. Damn. Holy shit. Hang on, let me see. Pictures. Let me get a picture. Save. Yes. And let's see. I don't think it's gonna show on this screen. No, it's not gonna show on this screen. You're probably wondering why I have. Which one is it? This one. Why I only have a 500 GB OS. That's what this computer came with. I wish I could get rid of this hard drive. It's not really worth having these two. I need a 1 TB. I need 1 TB drives. I need to get rid of one of the 500 gigabyte drives, like this one, my OS, and the MBE one. Wait, there's one missing drive. What the hell? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. MBE Steam. Yeah, there's one missing drive. This. Oh no, never mind. MBE Steam. Yeah, I know what this is. Never mind. Yeah, never mind. These are all my drives. I need more drives. Lol. That's how little space I have. I'm very bad. With buying computer equipment. I always go for the cheap thing and then end up regretting later down the line. Somebody please beat some sense into me. I hate it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, but this. Oh yeah, I was supposed to go today to what's it called, Micro Center, but I got lazy and I didn't go. Maybe I'll go tomorrow. I'll take my bike and go to freaking Micro Center and scout prices. I'm not gonna buy anything. I'm just gonna check the prices and whatever options they have. And then when what's it called, Black Friday or Cyber Monday rolls around, I'll be going there. But this time I'll be buying this stuff. Maybe they'll have good deals, maybe not, but we'll see. So yeah, thank you. Appreciate all your support. I'll see you next week. And yes, have a wonderful day, have a wonderful evening, have a wonderful night, and take care, and bye bye. Because it's late and my throat is hurting. I don't normally talk that much unless I take breaks. Not even at work. And I'm out of water too. Holy shit, I'm out of water. Oh yes. Thank you. And take care and bye bye. Good night.